the illegals and Trump concerning the military?
Oh, the funniest part is that the military is probably going to get a lot of money. You're going to see an increase of Border Patrol agents. You're going to see some, how do you say, you're going to see some of the requirements relaxed. You're not going to have what's the word I'm looking for? You're not going to have.
There's not going to be a lot of oversight involved in anyway. They're going to have their own infrastructure out. Too much oversight.
Be oversight. You're not going to have a bunch of people bitch moaning, complaining. You're going to get. It's just like I told my buddy, the Capitol Police. You're going to see a ton more people. You're going to get a ton more. You're going to get a lot more money. You're going to get a lot more resources. So you're going to get a lot more support. Today, this is the time to get in now before you get bombarded by everybody else. Private security right now is worth worldwide about $350 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, $158 billion. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be in the next 2 years about $350 billion.
Yeah,
So
like here in Dallas, there's going to be a big demand for it about another few years too, man. Because a lot of people are like sick and tired of the police taking their time when they dealing with like criminals messing with them. So I just got this idea, man, to where I can do private security with like white people that need it, and then I had to talk with some Palestinians I met in Dallas about it. Like there was a dude that said that Eddie was cool. He put me on FaceTime with his family in Lebanon and Jordan. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I mean, I remember I be at some of these bars and clubs. They got some Arabs coming in with some big pockets that might need to deal with like a different type of private security. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna see more.
Bodyguard, personal protection, risk management. That's what I'm talking about. That's what the money going to be.
You're gonna see more people getting to. This is what you're gonna see.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna see people do about 3 years of military service, maybe 4. 2 to 3 years of law enforcement, and then they're going to go into business for themselves.
Right.
You're going to see that. You're going to see that trend very heavily. I'm going to play a little bit more of this video and let him talk. And notice a lot of shit. And here's the cash app for anybody who wants to support. Support your interests. And notice we don't always have to talk about black female fuckery. Hell, we started the show out with what? Geek talk. And then we went into military, which we might go back into geek talk. You never know. So support your interests because we are going to talk about some black female fuckery because I like to give my take about this whole, black female, don't call us, we'll call you because we're mad because Trump got elected. Wah. But playing.
Man, I've been laughing at that stuff, man, for about a month, man. I'm laughing at these heifers, man. Like some of these heifers, man, that want to go for a B. They said they ain't gonna mess with no men for sex. You know what I say? In the words of Obsidian Ali, thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'll be like, it's cold out. I'm like, it's cold outside. Playing.
This is actually a qualification I've done numerous times throughout my time in MARSOC. And this is a military qualification that qualifies guys both on rifle and pistol, done individually. So basically what this allows guys to do, or qualifies guys to do, is use real guns during CQB training inside of a shoot house.
Looks pretty fun, doesn't it? and I'm gonna say this to a lot of people. It looks easy till you start moving. When you're shooting and moving, your body has a natural bounce. Depending on the distance, that bounce can send your fucking round anywhere, and it's a lot more difficult than it looks.
Plus the load you carrying and you're breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Charles, when you used to do the shooting courses, did y'all used to do the exercise where y'all do calisthenics and
Run.
to get your heart rate moving and your breathing up and then go shooting?
Oh yeah, we did that for both I did that for both the military and police, because they had an obstacle course where you had to do push-ups, run in place, jumping jacks, and run down 25 yards down to the shooting area. And you have to make it think, don't think, shoot, don't shoot. And you'd be surprised if you put somebody through a scenario like that, how much their judgment is going to be obscured. So, continuing.
Yeah, like some of these private military guys, they're gonna be training civilians in the same type of private boot camp too. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy that's up there mentoring me in the risk management investigators business, he's ex-military.
Oh yeah.
He told me, man, that said, you know, Bailey, we got some rifle training too.
Yeah. You got to know that we have if you send a lot of your 18 to 20, 21-year-olds into the military now, within 10 years, we can corner the business.
That's right.
But you got to diagnose and extract the gynocracy out of their asses. Continuing.
I mean, you know, think about it, man. Like you know, think about that red pill. The original red pill people I met, man, were like, you know, the pimps and
The
Macs
reason
in
why
my
Lucas and I
family.
are shooting this qualification is really for two main reasons. So first and foremost, the main reason is the gear requirement behind this qualification. So in order to shoot this qualification, it's not intended to be shot slick with just a speed belt and just your rifle, you know, with no helmet or anything like that. This qualification is intended to be shot in the full equipment that you're expected to be wearing, regardless of what your role is on the team, while you go into a real life scenario in a shoothouse or possibly even on deployment. So that being said, as you guys see, we're using new plate carriers. We're using AC0s and AC15s, and we wanted to demonstrate and also for ourselves just exercise the flexibility of the new plate carriers. So we use this opportunity to clone MARSOC type issued equipment, and I even cloned the exact kit that I wore when I was on the team. So if you guys want a full breakdown of our kits, not only of our kit, but also our guns and kind of the why we set things up, make sure you check out our Armory YouTube channel and where we go over the full breakdown of the kit. But just to note that the main reason why we chose this qualification is because of that gear requirement behind the qualification. The second main reason why we decided to do this qualification is because military rifle and pistol quals are generally just leave a lot to be desired. They usually are pretty easy shooting standards they don't require a lot of aggressive shooting or a lot of practical shooting. They emphasize more on the safety side of things. And they also tend to develop poor habits within shooters in order for them to be able to pass the qualification.
Am I the only one that noticed that that's a terrible place to park your truck?
That's a what?
That's a terrible place to park your truck.
Oh no, it's because
You can let him keep playing.
I mean, let's
it's so far out the shooting lanes. Like it's so far
No,
out.
not that truck right there.
Oh, which one?
Go ahead,
The
play
black
the video.
truck, right? Talking about the black truck, right?
You see it.
That's at 11 o'clock.
You see it. They told the target. Sorry, I don't mean to be chilly. Right there.
Oh yeah, that's
That's
Tell you
part
what,
of the
that-
range. That car is disabled.
Okay.
yeah, they shoot at it. It's seen its better days. Now, and I want to pause it right here. Would this make sense to you if your local police department qualified like this?
Yeah, it would make sense.
Hey, Namer, come back. I just saw you.
Yeah, a lot of them can't shoot.
If you're there, Namer, come back. I think your local PD should train like this. Yes, it might be cold some days, or you should detail them out. But what he's doing is pretty practical, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's pretty smooth on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said to Spetsnaz is basic training, but to Spetsnaz, it's known to die in training. You know why? Because we have poor conditions. We eat rats. Our guns got more rust than our women. Tasty.
Yes. Yeah.
But
No, interesting.
you see this. This is how I think you should train, and I think that qualification should be for rifle, pistol, shotgun, because I could take 2 headshots for 50 yards. I've done it with a shotgun. I think a shotgun still has a place. A rifle, maybe what you need. Shotgun, maybe what you need. It's a tool. Just think of them as tools, and I think that's what people got away from it. Continuing.
Hey, that's when they talk about that movie Ronin, when they asked him what weapon do you prefer, like the dude says, a toolbox. Get the right tool for the right job.
Yeah, pretty much.
Given the very generous time centered on the strings of fire for this qualification, you'd expect a very difficult target. However, that's not exactly the case. The targets that Lucas and I used were just traditional USPSA targets, and we scored this just on alpha hit. So if we got an alpha hit, we got a hit, and if it was outside the alpha, it was considered a miss. Now, the actual target for this is a big bowling pin type target. So if Lucas and I used that target, we probably would have only dropped 1 to maybe 3 rounds each, both on daytime and nighttime course of fire. But that's something that the teams are actually doing right now. Is they're not doing this during the pipeline training, as in when students are going through training and trying to make it to a team, but the teams themselves are using USPSA targets to make this qualification a little bit harder. Now, that is one thing I think would be a very easy fix to this qualification to make it a very hard qualification standard, is just changing the target to a USPSA target and only considering alpha hits as good. Because when Lucas and I did that, we barely passed the 80% standard. I think we were both right around 80 to 82%, both on daytime and nighttime shooting. More preferably, however, I would just prefer the entire course of fire to be nixed and replaced with something like CQB warm-up from the Practical Shooting Training Group. This is a very, very aggressive course of fire that's done, honestly, much quicker, evaluates much more skills comparatively to this entire qualification, and you can tailor it to be done during night and day, et cetera, et cetera. That qualification, again, focuses on more of a practical type shooting, so pushing the speed, pushing the aggression, and the time standards and the hits that you need to pass that are actually difficult, even for me at my shooting level nowadays.
Pausing. People don't understand how fucking difficult nighttime shooting is. God damn. That nighttime qualifier is a bitch sometimes. Because you and a lot of times when you're in when in a department you'll have flashing lights. Imagine looking at nighttime flashing lights and what it does to your vision, especially flashing blue and red. So it can give you a little bit of optical illusions.
That's why sometimes you gotta be able to hear the target. Sometimes, depending on the senses, when you like dealing with the dark and all that.
Yeah, it will play with the senses a lot. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the Cash App if you're being entertained.
And which one of y'all need to change the battery in y'all smoke detector?
Beep.
Don't act like you don't hear it.
I know. Beep.
Go and get the chair.
It might be the little it might be the thing on his timer that he's hitting.
Yeah, man, that's on Netflix, man. They're supposed to be making a horror movie, man, based on the smoke detector. It really don't make no sense. It's supposed to be like a black ghetto horror movie.
Is this a video game?
No.
No, I see now. It's not a video game. Keep going.
Oh no. This is a qualification course shoot.
Is this your security firm doing this, or this is you?
No, this is prior military guys. It's that how come you can't, I'll pick another one real quick. I'll pick another one real quick for because one, there's a lot of military channels I watch and share. What makes it funny to me is that why do they get to have all the fun? You have a lot of what was another one? That's a little long.
I think I kind of get the point that you're making. Because in
If
terms
you
of
look at
life,
it, like
That's what Paul Mooney talks about, man. The being protected as a collective.
not quite what I was trying to say.
You guys talk about rifle build drill.
You understand the way that they got this power structure going on for certain people,
Yeah, still.
And that's why we're gonna do something like this. We have to develop a private website outside of YouTube on this.
well, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
A lot of
Because when they make the algorithms with black content creators, the algorithms are more like tricky, every day, every week for black, content creators, and then not strictly for white content creators.
What I was more so trying to say is that like earlier when we were talking about like the Colin Noir dude, like I haven't watched that much of his content, but I don't imagine that he's doing content like this, or if he's doing like these like military drills, etc.
Well,
like I have seen them. I've seen some of his videos.
Well, if you don't know what type of drills he's done, you just told me you don't know what type of drills. Like, because he does
Same thing as a pistol, 6 rounds from the low ready or the high ready, compressed ready, whatever you want it to be, inside a release distance, 3, 5, 7, 10 yards. It's really focused on recoil management, driving this thing up. And what I really like to see is that first shot presentation. If your low readies are consistently at a 6.5, a 7.2, a 7.8, and then you get to the rifle build drill and it drops off like a 9.1, a 1 flat, because you've never been really trained to anticipate the recoil and manage it accurately. That's really what this drill is really good at. 6 rounds as fast as you can in a reasonable time standard from a realistic distance, hammering home, resetting the trigger after every shot. Inside of that fist size space, it's where I want it to be my natural CQB offset. I'm actually holding inside of these 4 boxes, and that's where it drops down to for me at this distance. I'm sighted in at 36 with this. It's not that much of an offset, but really good hits. Now we're just managing recoil. Now we just try to make it harder than it is.
so.
You know, Charles, that's what reminded me, man, when I was asked by Bonnie Ellie on the panel. She asked me which panels would I prefer to be on. I said, man, I prefer to be on all men panels.
So
Discussing real solution type stuff.
This
So-
is a pretty good one that I want people to see.
Okay.
This has Cola Noir. It's funny because, you're not going to see, if you look at the white manosphere, the females who come, you don't see a variety of information like this, do you? No. But I'm going to play this. This is called How These Defensive Gun Use Could Land You in Prison by Cola Noir. This is 2 years ago. Has 2.2 million views. God, I would love that.
She what?
I would love that viewage.
We put together
that viewing power. 2.2 million views on this video that we're watching. So I want everybody to pay attention to what's this one. And this is sometimes what people don't get when it comes to shooting scenarios.
deadly force training scenario in this diner with 2A advocate Cola Noir. We're doing this to train you on the tactical and legal aspects of when you can and can't shoot. Remember, Colan is using a specially modified Glock 17 because a firearm is the best tool you can use to protect yourself.
Where were you?
Told you, we just out having a few drinks.
No.
Those of you who don't know, he's using simulations. Think of paintball, only faster, more accurate.
Oh, you weren't. Where were you?
Wow.
The guys.
I checked the location on your phone. Where were you?
Okay.
I told you, we just out having a few drinks.
Oh, my sister texted me.
She what?
She texted me. You were with her last night.
I don't know what to tell you, babe.
You slept with my sister. I could kill you.
Told you,
Wondering
we just
if
out having
you
a few
wanted to
drinks.
Do something this weekend.
No, you
What'd you have
weren't.
in
Where
mind?
were you?
Well,
The
it's
guys.
supposed to be really
I
nice.
checked
Can
the
we do something
location on
outdoors?
your phone. Where were
Not
you?
really an outdoors kind of guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I told you,
Alright,
we just out having a few
Can
drinks.
we cook
my
something for
sister
dinner or
texted me.
I was
something?
thinking more like a strip.
She what?
She texted me.
Yeah, I don't know that
You're
I'm up
with
for
her
that now.
I could
Look.
kill you.
Babe. Babe.
Yeah, just gonna mind my business.
Hi.
Yeah,
How are you
order for a
doing?
pickup.
Sure. What's the name?
Cool. And everything in the register, please.
What?
Yeah, everything in the register. I mean, are you stupid? Can you not hear me? I'm standing right in front of your face. Everything in the goddamn register. Open it up. You you shut up over there. Everything in here right now to me.
Don't do it.
Sit down.
Don't do it.
Sit down, you son of a bitch. Just hold on.
Don't do it.
Hey, hold on. Shut up.
Don't do it.
You, man.
Don't do
You. Now, bitch.
That was bullshit.
I'm going to ask you the very first question. How many times did you shoot?
Oddly
Like,
enough, those things I remembered and recalled. Some reason there were some things that I specifically remember. And I'm like, I remember shooting 3 times.
Okay.
That's 3.
And we're here with criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Tom Grieve. Tom, Colan just said he shot 3 times. What did you see?
8 is what the camera picked up.
8 rounds.
That's
fired at
yeah.
the bad guy.
But here's the crazy part about that, right? How many rounds did you use in a self-defense scenario?
You have no idea.
Yeah, just to whatever is needed.
But that was bullshit. What that guy should have already had the gun in his hand while yelling at the clerk. Matter of fact, most robbers, as soon as they come to the counter, they're already pulling it out and pointing it.
Mm-hmm. But they do these scenarios for a reason. And the reason why is because it's going to vary. And a lot of it is like, okay, do I shoot? Do I don't shoot? So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, you're right. Most of them already have the gun pull out when they come into the spot.
No, continuing.
This is a perfect time to discuss making a statement to the police because you just came out of just a training scenario with just a little bit of elevated stress. And you
I would have testified under oath that I shot 3
You
rounds.
fired 3 times. Tom, what happens when you tell a cop something that's not true?
Well, I mean, number one, you're looking at possible obstruction charges, but more realistically than that, obviously, on some sort of obstruction misdemeanor, it doesn't mean anything in the context of a potential homicide charge. What you are looking at, though, is, that's an easy thing for them to check out. It's an easy thing for them to talk to other witnesses about. If you've got a topped off magazine, they're counting how many rounds you have left. They're counting the brass on the ground, right? It's an easy for them thing for them to check and then to figure out from there, well, he got this wrong. What else is he not being honest with?
Yeah. Follow up on this. Bad guy was hitting the door and we heard him holler on the way out. He took one in the back.
Yeah,
Now you're...
I was like, once he's done with this guy, I don't know what he's gonna do.
We also put you in a real bad position to get to that exit with a bad guy over there with a gun.
Yeah.
But you sent your girlfriend out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say you did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's for the prosecutor to say. You could have escaped this situation.
And that's what the prosecutor will say.
Yeah.
Right. She left. He could have left too. Had this been real life, right? Had the bad guy, is he gonna die out in the parking lot? Is he gonna bleed out? Whatever the case may be. And then what will happen is they'll do a medical examiner report. They'll try to figure out which shot killed him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we know the bad guy got hit twice, once somewhere from the front, once somewhere from the back. Which shot was the fatal shot? And of course, the medical examiner, the ME, will do their autopsy. They'll say, maybe conclusively, this shot, what we believe to be the deadly shot. God willing, that was the first shot to the chest, right? And that might be the difference between, charges versus no charges. A homicide charge versus nothing.
The time it takes for you to decide to stop doing what you're doing is enough time for him to turn. And you can get a professional witness to talk about that and to help exonerate you, but you're going to need a professional witness because the whole world says he shot a dude in the back. And I want to look at this just from the base level that any concealed carrier might see. We have an armed robbery, a bad guy with a gun. You pulled out your gun and engaged him. It looks from the outset, imminent threat of death or great bodily harm. I use deadly force to stop the threat. There's way more than that going on in this little room.
Seeing people carry guns, open carry, doesn't bother me. If I go out and lap, I don't. However, in my mind, the moment you pull that gun and you use it intentively, or just or act aggressively in that regard, so I felt my life's in danger.
Yeah,
and that's why even though they were engaging, I'm thinking at any moment he's going to turn to me, and now he's going to have to deal with. Now I'm going to have to deal with him.
Yeah,
and so I'm like, I'm going to stop that before it even gets to that point. So, but like you said, it's a lot deeper than that.
Yeah.
Right. Especially from a third party, somebody else sitting back watching that could say, I mean, yeah, I get it, but did you really have to?
And that's going to be the question that the prosecutors are going to ask. Did you really have to? Is it could you have done something else?
Here's the pitch for prison. He could have retreated. He didn't. He could have left. He didn't. Do we know necessarily when we're looking at all these different witness reports about who provoked who when it comes to the guy on the couch, when it comes to the guy who, looks for all respects as the bad actor, right? But there's going to be questions there that some lawyer is going to raise as far as, look, he might be robbing the place, but that doesn't mean that he may not be privileged to use self-defense. And if that's the guy who is the legal person who's defending themselves, Napoleon might be looking at, we got homicide charges now because I attacked the wrong guy. Maybe if he waits another quarter second, half second, granted, good to go at that point. From there, we move on from a prosecutor perspective of we got 8 shots versus 3. So how much can we trust whatever else he told us, right? And then, of course,
this is the reason why you don't give statements without a lawyer. Not because you're a lie. It's really because you don't know, because time lapses. It either speeds up or slows down when you're in an emergency situation. So you don't know. If somebody, it's pretty fucking ignorant to ask a person who's in a deadly force situation, how many shots did you fire? Because that person doesn't know. Time lapsed in their brain.
The answer is I don't know.
You don't know.
Man, in a situation like that, they don't give you enough time to know.
I don't know. The guy, he pulled out a gun on the clerk. I drew my weapon. I told him to hold it. He turned to me, pointed the weapon. I don't know how many shots I fired. I don't know. I can tell you I had a full magazine that had 17 clips. I don't know. How many is left?
You don't even want to say that. You'd be like, I don't know. You don't even want to say that. You just be like, I don't know. This is the reason why, they're going to. And I tell people, in America, you're noticing one thing quickly, that we're turning more people into victims than citizens. Why? Because they really don't want you to have guns.
Yeah, so reminded me of the Democratic Party, man. I was trying to take people's guns away.
You got to think about it. Why do you think they're allowing people? Well, if you steal under $1,000, you're good. So they could steal 999 worth of my shit, come back tomorrow and steal another 999 worth of my shit. Makes sense of that.
First, we got the shot to the back, and then we're going to be talking about what happened to the guy who's robbing the place. I'm going to call him the bad guy here, right? What happened to the bad guy? Did he die in the parking lot? And then we get back to the discussion of the ME, the medical examiners, as far as which shot was the fatal shot, the first one to the chest or the one that he was running away from. Because, of course, as we all know, we only shoot to stop the threat. And yes, we can get into discussions in Colleen's defense now. Absolutely, meritorious discussions need and deserve to be had as far as response time, what's reasonable under the circumstances of a high-stress situation. If somebody spins to run away and that all happens within a very small, reasonable amount of time, that a force expert's going to be talking about is, yeah, he may have spun, and yeah, incidentally, as a result, may have shot him in the back. That doesn't change the fact that he was legally privileged to use self-defense at that moment in time based on neuroscience, chemistry.
God forbid you get a prosecutor who is more on the anti side of the issue. I mean, now you've got somebody who's devoted to making their case against you. So there's that aspect of there. Just one thing I can pull away from this is I walked into this with a certain level of confidence just based on my experience, and I'm walking away realizing there are so much you can't control that you think you can control within the situation that you think you have covered, but you don't. Because that ball of yarn keeps rolling even after you put the gun down, and that's something I hadn't completely thought through.
We're gonna do another one. We're gonna put you through this again.
So we're playing this again. I don't know if we're solidified on it yet. So
You gotta get some knocked out.
okay. Is there anything that I can help with?
No, I'm good. Thanks. I appreciate
I just
it.
thought I would,
This is a robbery! Everybody, nobody move! Nobody move! Put your wallets in the bag! Nobody move! Wallet in the bag.
Wallet only.
Right now. Wallet in the bag. Thank you very much for your wallet in the bag. You guys over there, every one of you. Yes, even you, blue shirt, wallet in the bag. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Make sure you get her on the way out.
What? What? Oh my God! Please no, Clea, please help me! Please help me!
Now, before the lawyer talks, was that legal?
What state are we in?
Could you articulate shooting him in the back was legal?
What state are we in? Are we in Ohio, Kentucky, California? Where are we?
Annie. Pick a state.
Lord.
Well, how about Texas?
Well, Texas, you can shoot anybody with legal shit.
It's like being in Florida. I'm going to coin flip this, and
anybody in the chat want to crack at it? Come on, chat.
Because it looked like a kidnapping scenario.
Yeah, the dude did grab his lady.
Right. Yeah.
Got him. Lady.
Come on, chat. Give me some answers, chat. Don't forget to hit the cash app. We educating people today. We educating motherfuckers. See, we're not always black female fuckery, are we? Okay, come on, chat. Come on, chat. We learned something today. See, is it a scenario where he's going to take it? He's looking for a superior advantage. Is it a scenario where he's trying to turn around and get a bounceable advantage? Is the potential of danger for the girlfriend so heightened that he had to do it?
Yeah, because I think that guy was grabbing this girl to use as a human shield.
Was the potential that when he grabbed her, there was going to be more danger?
Right.
For her, yes.
Kidnapping, hostage.
Anybody want to play that again? Let's play the scenario again.
gotta get some dollars, not sales.
Okay.
So
Is there anything that I can help with? Okay.
No, I'm good. Thanks. I
I
appreciate
just
it.
thought I would,
This is a robbery! Everybody, nobody move! Nobody move! Put your wallets in the bag! Nobody
Holy
move! Wallet in the bag.
Wallet
Right
only.
now. Wallet in the bag. Thank you very much for your question. Wallet in the bag. You
I
guys
just
over
got my
there.
phone.
Every one of you. Yes, even you, blue shirt. Wallet in the bag. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Make sure you get her on the way out.
What? What? Oh my God. Please, no. Julia, please help me. Please help me.
Colin, we put you in a tough spot.
Oh yeah. The way that he pulled her, it was the way that he was using her as a shield, just in case somebody would try to shoot him in the back.
Mm-hmm. And
But the way that he pulled her out of the chair, he pulled her up out of the chair and had the lady directly, behind her.
Anybody else want to take a crack at it? Anybody else? Chat. Let's see. Excuse me.
I mean, that's why I couldn't be risking for him to shoot, because if he tried to shoot him while, the dude had his grasp on his lady, he could have like really, hit his lady instead of hit the guy, the aggressor.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's make sure that it's a hell of a take, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a tough decision, isn't it?
And then the way he grabbed her is just in case the police already showed up outside.
Mm-hmm.
Spot and you aced it. And
I just turn your YouTube down.
prior to coming into this scenario, we set up all the role players specifically to make sure you couldn't move, and we gave you a 2-second window.
Man, I went and I was jonesing for that. It's weird how you go from like I was genuinely startled.
Yeah,
because I didn't expect for a gun to go off for whatever reason. He comes in and he pops the cashier. At that point, there's a kind of it's just like this overwhelming helplessness because in your mind, your first instinct mentally is kind of like, all right, how to get to my gun. And then,
by the way, for anybody who thinks they're cowboys and you can pull the gun faster, I've never seen anybody pull a gun faster from a holster than somebody who has it out pointing. I've never seen it. Continue.
When that guy popped off, then I just got pissed because I was just like, it went from startle to helplessness to mother, because the second guy, and then it was just almost pure anger. I already got gun trained on me. There's not much I can do. I'm sitting down. I'm not gonna be able to get to my gun that fast, and I know if I start shooting, they're gonna open up. She doesn't have a gun, and she won't be able to move out fast enough. Hell, I won't even be able to move away fast enough. I may start shooting. He may get hit, but so will I.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I'm just like, all I can do is hope they don't just shoot us. But they did just pop the cashier. So part of me is like, all right, this is for real. Like, this isn't like, okay, we're just going to take the stuff and go. It's like at any point, the switch could flip again. And he's just like, oh, go someone else. And that's when he was like, take her too. At that point, I'm like, wait, what? Because I couldn't tell if it was like, shoot her too or take her with us. And so when he started coming and I thought he was going to shoot, and
think of all the nasty scenarios that could have happened to her.
I mean, she could have been raped.
She could have been a human shield. She could have been sexually assaulted. She could have been used as
pump gas.
Pump gas,
Forced
leverage.
to cook, forced to clean up the hideout. I'm sorry, I'm being funny.
Oh,
But no.
Clean up the hideout. Oh no, that's slavery. We really got to rescue her.
She could have been part of the whole thing.
And that's another thing. She could have been part of the whole thing. She could have been setting everybody up. There have been girls known to do that, to set people up. Grab her too. You think she's your girlfriend, but she said she'll have to get you robbed. Continuing.
Yeah, the gun train, I kind of started and he was like, don't you do it. And then he kind of reached and grabbed her hand. And I was like, okay, they're just trying to take her. So at this point, I'm like, all right, that gives me a little bit more opportunity to find where I could possibly dead this. As soon as the barrel left me and he disengaged to a degree, and I could still kind of see he held her hand. She was still trying to take her. So that's when I grabbed, I saw my opportunity. But also I just wanted to make sure, I was like, I don't want to hit her. So I just want to get as close as possible, as fast as possible, and then get my shots off.
Yeah, that was perfect. And we didn't expect you to crush that distance in there. We thought maybe you'd get up and shoot from the...
Gotcha.
He had that Negro speed. You know, faster than a speeding cop. More powerful than a junkie on an 8-ball. Able to leap basketball cleats with a single button. Let me stop. But continuing.
Or even shoot from a seated position. Now we got what I would call a legitimate shoot in the back. Now you were back there watching frame by frame to make sure, because you're doing the prosecutor thing. What did you see?
There's two legal issues. The first one is we're going to have to be able to articulate, or at least Colian will, that when the bad guy was taking his girlfriend, why that was a deadly threat to her, to someone, because of course you can't just use deadly force. We can only use deadly force to stop a deadly threat. Whether
Number one, did they show aggression before? Where was the aggression they showed before?
When they killed the clerk.
Can I do a quick advertisement?
Huh?
Can I do a quick advertisement?
Fuck yeah.
This dual cast stream is brought to you by Johnny Walker Black.
Hold on. One more time. We'll see it. Johnny Walker Black. Oh,
Okay.
Johnny
Walker Black.
Black Label. I haven't seen that in a while.
Cheers.
I mean, hey, my uncle used to drink that back in the day. Black Label, yeah.
This simulcast, this three-way simulcast is brought to you
Oh,
by
Charles, check your phone.
Oh, yeah. Which one? The 619? Oh, sure. Or the 443.
He sent the Christmas gifts.
Oh, Lord, we get the Christmas gifts. I need the Christmas gifts. Lordy. Lordy. Oh, shoot. Where'd you send it?
To your messenger.
Okay, cool.
Text, not Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, this is why your situational and environmental awareness got to be on point.
It does.
Situational awareness and environmental awareness.
It does, because a lot of shit like this.
It's your 443 number.
Okay. Like sure.
You had the case where the black chick, she shot and killed this white guy who was a firefighter who was attacking her black boyfriend. What they didn't tell you was that, well, they kind of alluded to it. What happened was the black guy was harassing the clerk at the gas station, one of those speedways. He was harassing the clerk. So the firefighter, of course, hey, leave the chick alone, whatnot. So the black guy, this is what happens when you play hero. So the black guy went outside. The white guy went outside with him, but the black guy, he went outside to his car and grabbed a gun. The white guy, kicked the shit out of him, was holding him down on the ground. The gun, of course, fell free. So while he was holding the guy down, his girlfriend had the gun in her hand, and she was telling the guy, hey, get off of him, sir, get off of him, or I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to shoot you. Of course, he wasn't listening.
That's tough.
Right, because, I don't think he even knew that the guy had lost the gun. So the girl shot and killed him. Shot and killed the firefighter dude. And she got off. Because she gave the firefighter guy plenty warning to stop attacking her boyfriend. So therefore, she had the legal right to use deadly force because, I mean, it was a street fight. The guy had him by the neck. He was choking him out.
And did she ask for help?
She told the guy several times with the gun pointing at him, "Sir, get off of him. Don't get off of him or I'm going to shoot you. Get off of him, I'm going to shoot you. Please, get off of him, I'm going to shoot you." And he wouldn't let him go. He had him by the neck. So she popped him, and he died.
Well, you know, he was in the boyfriend was in a precarious situation, wasn't he?
He started some shit.
Now,
this is part why I love being like an armed security officer, because like when I used to be an armed security officer at the racetrack in Dallas, I had to work on like a de-escalation of the situation. And sometimes, when they act the fool with some of the clerks at the restaurant, I say, "Hey, what's up, man? Do you need some help? Let me talk to you for a minute." And that's how I would de-escalate the situation.
Yeah, sometimes, you really try your best to de-escalate shit because we all know how shit can just
Charles.
Oh yeah.
I think I'll be able to get the Phil Antonio t-shirts made.
Oh shit, that'll be great. Oh man, oh my god, that shit.
And what side are you? 6X, Charles?
2X.
2X.
2X t-shirts. 6X. Ooh, that's more really obese. Good go.
Hey, Bay. What size are you?
I'm the mediums. I'm a medium. I'm sitting up here shopping for. It's funny while we doing this. I'm buying sauna suits and and everything.
I know. It's
thing about me, I gotta get back to the gym, but then with some personal training. There's a guy that wants to train me to martial arts as well next year. So I'm just trying to get my skill set up, man. As I get ready to open up my business next year.
Oh yeah. Hopefully, many success. There we go.
Because I want to set up, man, to where I'm able to hire mostly, my own demographic, Black American men, males, young boys, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I explained to a guy, well, if you're not getting hired by the people, you got to create your own thing, because the new career for Black American men, moving forward, to 2025 and then 2030 beyond is running your own thing.
Yeah. Think about it. What if black men would have started Pinkerton in the 1800s?
Oh man, we would have had a global franchise, man.
We would have had basically a private army, which they would have feared.
And see, that was the thing. That was the thing about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Rosewood, and Rosewood in Florida, People's Grocery in Memphis, and Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If they would have had a private personal protection force, a private military force, that stuff wouldn't have been burned down.
Yeah. We're gonna see what this prosecutor says about this real quick.
Whether that's to yourself or to someone else, right? Defense of third person. So that's going to be the first legal issue here, is to be able to articulate why this rises to the level of a deadly threat, so I can now use deadly force. The second issue is, when does that deadly threat stop, right? In other words, if he lets go of her hand, if the bad guy lets go of his girlfriend's hand in this scenario, is that still a deadly threat? Yeah. Now, to Colian's point, we just watched them cap the cashier for no particularly good reason. So I think that even if he had fired after the hand had let go of her, I'm not saying that as a defense attorney I'm in love with this position, but I think that leans more towards the prosecution if you had fired after that point. But the simple fact is he didn't fire after that point. And I think that as a defense attorney, I would much rather have Colian as my client than be the prosecutor trying to prosecute him for, hey, you didn't have the right to use deadly force in this scenario. I think that if some sort of aggressive prosecutor wants to try to take this to trial, I'd rather be the defense attorney 10 times out of 10 on this.
In this scenario, what he's saying is if you're in New York City, they'll try to throw you in Rikers, but if you're in Texas, they'll throw you a parade.
Pretty much, you'll be a hero. You'll be a hero, even though legally, you don't know what the fuck they're gonna do with her. You already seen them kill somebody. You don't know. They think she's pretty, so I could think they're gonna try to, essay her. So
I mean, that's the thing about it. They're not gonna give you enough time to figure it out in that situation.
And people think, and you see how fast that this is just a scenario training. Look how fast that shit was, and look how fast he was able to, get to the right distance to make sure he didn't hit her and put approximately 3-4 in his ass. Maybe just 2. Yeah. That shit went down quick, didn't it? He even said he knew it was a scenario, but he was startled.
And then the thing about it, that guy could have shot her at the same time when he grabbed her.
Mm-hmm. You don't know.
You know the crazy thing about that?
What's that?
Was that not only did you just put the kidnapper in a permanent wheelchair if he's lucky, but now you also have to contend with his partner.
Mm-hmm.
And remember that Baltimore cop that got shot, the young lady?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, here she was, a trained police officer. She saw them roll up on her. Personally, I think if she was trained how to shoot in the dark, because I don't think she was a ranged chick. I mean, this goes back to the earlier part where I was talking about cops. A lot of them don't know how to shoot. They do one session with the service revolver, and then they call it, whatever sessions y'all do in training, and then they call it a day. And it's like, no.
But hey, Bay, you know what? Also, a lot of these cops don't have situational awareness. Also, because even at my job, and I apologize if I cut you off and cut your train of thought.
No, you're fine.
A lot of cops, like I could tell they're rookies. They have no situational awareness whatsoever, and that also goes to like depending on what municipality you work in and the length of your training as a cop. We were like when I was in the Marine Corps, you're always taught about situational awareness, and Charles, you could probably attest to this yourself. Like even when you're off duty, you're supposed to have situational awareness. And if I remember that video, she was wearing flip-flops when she was coming home. So even her being tactical, even though you're in comfort wear, but especially in Chicago, how fucked up is there? It is there. You're a fucking target regardless.
Yeah.
And people around there know you're a fucking cop.
Yeah, and think about it, right? How many
So
people
they know you're a cop, you're an automatic target.
Oh yeah. And how many people walking down the street actually look behind their shoulder? Turn around.
Not many. Not too many.
How many people walk around, just looking around?
Look, I'll be at the little park where I'm at, right? Walking the football field. I'm always paying because I have my headphones in. I'm always over my shoulder because it's a safe neighborhood. You get strange cars that pull up. Maybe there's a homeless person sitting, over in the baseball area, which is sunken. But by the time I walk the 100 yards to the end of the one end of the football field, probably before I even get to the 50, they can already be on top of me. Am I making sense?
Yes.
You always have to be aware. This ain't something that I've developed now. I've always had this, just by growing up in Cleveland. You have to always have situational awareness of your surroundings because you never know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That moment in time the other night when I was up there getting gas for the security vehicle at 7-Eleven in Irving. There was this guy that was up there talking crazy, looking at him. And then we up there looked at me. I had my flip knife out ready just in case he tried to come at me. I didn't know what he probably had in his backpack or in his pocket. And then, he up there trying to act like he was going to talk crazy to me. And I looked at him, but I didn't let him see my knife. But I looked at him to let him know that I'm ready and I'm not talking. You know. And I was up there watching him like a panther. So nah. And I remember some people like test me when I don't like riding the bus. And I had that knife ready. I remember one dude tried to talk shit to me on the train. I took up my knife and my portable sharpener and sharpened that knife right in front of him.
Like, keep talking shit.
No. I didn't even say nothing. I just let him see me sharpen my knife. I just put up my knife, man, and sharpened it.
Oh, I always got my brass knucks on me, and I had told Bay the story a couple weeks ago. I saved a woman's life. Where I'm a weapons fanatic. I always got some type of weapon on me. And I love knives because knives are very intimate. And we at the bus stop, and I'm coming from work, and it was these crackheads that came up asking for money. So they asked me, I'm like, nah, I don't got no money. So they go to the female, and they see that she's intimidated, and they push up on her. I just pull out both of my brass knucks, looking at them, and they walked away. And I had a comb that you pull out the handle, and it's a knife. And I asked her, like, are you always out here this time of night? Do you work? I'm like, look, I'm not trying to kick it to you. I'm not, it's not that. Take this comb. She's like, oh, I don't need a comb. Like, pull the handle, sweetheart. She pulled it. She started crying and said, thank you. And every time when I see her at the bus stop, she greets me.
Yeah, but black men don't protect women, right?
Yeah.
Black men don't protect women. We don't, we ain't shit. We're bullet bags. Black men don't protect women, right? We're no good baby daddies, each one of us. Over 95% of black men got kids, 90 of them take care of them. The other 5, they faking just to get pussy.
And
even when the black dudes up at defending themselves and the black one try to hit them, there'll be some black dudes jumping in.
Oh, but look, and Charles, what do you say? What's the number one rule with protection?
Obedience.
Compliance.
Compliance or obedience.
I told her to stand by me, and she stood by me, even after I gave her the comb.
Yeah, and I tell women,
she was grateful.
Yeah, and I tell women this shit, and of course, when I came up with those rules, most women, all the women can, agreed except for one female. But we already know she can't keep a man for shit. She's into this, I'm trying to make wealth and spirituality. And I'm like, whatever. You failed getting a man twice. You had 2. So it's my thing about when you try to come up with content that actually protects people, and you gave a damn good story about it. She's grateful. What if she did not obey? She'd have been not like you would have hurt her, but she could have put herself in danger. Even more so.
And here's something a little off subject about even with compliance. My boys took me out for my birthday. We went out to the New York City to go eat. So we're on the train, and it's standing room, and we're going to the last stop so we could go to Chinatown. Short Chinese girl, she can't even reach to hold on to the the railings. So I'm looking at her, and I tell that she's uncomfortable because she don't have nothing to hold on. And you know how the trains go at a high speed and it turns on an angle?
Yeah.
Track. She almost fell, so I grabbed her arm, and we're like 2 minutes from the stop. And I just told her, hold on to my arm. She held on to my arm while I'm talking to my boys, and when the train stopped, we got to stop. She said, "Thank you so much." No problem. Kept it moving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what reminded me when I was a security guard at that strip club in Dallas, right? And I remember I was out there out in the parking lot, and there was this lady waiting for a ride. This young white lady. You know, I'm like 5'11". She's like 5'6". And then she up there like came and put her arm around my waist and everything. You know, put her arms around me, and she was doing that so that she can feel safe. And then there are times I don't be in a hurry to escort anybody or nothing. They had to call me. Like, you know, there are times the anxiety dancers be wanting to fight, fight in the dressing room. They call me there. But then before then, they complain about me being in like the other part of the when they get ready, when they have the snack machines and everything. And I was up there joking and everything. And they're like, well, we don't want you hanging out in the other area of the dressing room. So wait a minute, ain't that the visiting area? So in other words, I told them this: if these chicks just start scratching each other, don't call me. Don't call me to the dressing room. I'm gonna be out in the parking lot. And then, like, lo and behold, a few weeks later, they say, hey, Officer Bailey, we need you to come to the dressing room to make sure this lady don't be acting a fool because we caught her up there eating chips while she was on stage. And then I had to come back to the changing area. And I told her, say, hey, listen, I know that you're angry, but there's other clubs that you can like dance at. Baby Doll's not the only one. And then like I be out in the parking lot, man. I've been asked by ladies to like escort them to their rides and everything. They give me tips. But like this other guy, he be up there like in the club after they need an escort. I said, do what you're doing. Don't be in a hurry to do anything. Let them be in a hurry to ask you. And like I would talk to these ladies because there's a part of Dallas that's the hood, like Shady Trail, Lombardi Lane, and Northwest Highway. And I tell these ladies, what the heck are you doing still having a conversation? It's 2 a.m. in the morning. You got these prostitutes and pimps who are predators. You even got prostitutes that walk up and down the street be packing. What are you doing? You need to go ahead and shut the hell up, get in that goddamn car and get your ass home.
Too stupid to realize
y'all supposed to be looking at me, right?
Too stupid to realize that they're sizing her up. I mean, we all know that's what you said. That's what they was doing. They was sizing her up.
I remember I talked to one pimp that was up there, driving to the park. I said, hey, bro, player, let me talk to you, and drop some marinated salsa game on you. Man, listen here, that guy owns that club. If he sees you drive through here, he gonna call somebody worse than the cops that did with you. And then I had to talk with these prostitutes that be trying to sell their wares in the parking lot. And I told one pro, you need to tell your daddy that they don't play in this parking lot. Because if I see your daddy, I'm going to make a report to the dad that owns that club. And he might not call police to deal with him. He might call some other type of dude.
Can I make a quick announcement?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Welcome to the Monday Night Dualcast stream with your hosts, Charles Faulkner Jr., Embrace Villainy, and myself, Red Pill Sleeper Cell. I'd like to thank everybody that's watching on the respective channels. Please give a like to the channel if you're watching. If you did not hit the like button, please do so at this moment. And if you can, please share it also to help out with the algorithm so we can get exposure. And if you are you're able to, please donate. A whole lot of ones are better than a whole lot of nuns.
Oh yeah.
And I like to give that royalty check to the late great Sinful the P. So if you got $1 to spare it. If not, please hit the like button. That's very important. I'd like to thank you all for watching this informative program.
Okay, the new group 3 the hard way. You got it.
I mean, like I was saying, man, like the first red pill type of dudes I met were pimps. Some of them were like members of my dad's side of the family. And then, like I try to tell these young blood, you up there trying to match emotion with these heifers? No, it's about cop and blow. You check the heifer, it's like cop. Cop is you check the heifer, blows when you get rid of the heifer. And like I tell them, real game is a process, not a recess. You gotta observe, read, and study these bras. You can't fantasize about them and imagine them. Like there was this lady that was on Skype trying to thirst trap me and everything, and I read her and read the picture, and I saw that purple and yellow ideogram behind her in the bathroom. They said, I told her, that's interesting that you're working in Planet Fitness. And then she was up there trying to pull up her bra from the right side of her chest, trying to thirst trap me. I read that picture to a T. And I told my friend about it. Yeah, this lady trying to thirst trap me. And then she's going to try to tell me, well, can you fly me out or whatever? I said, no. I tell you what, I'm going to fly to where you at Orlando. Then she's going to come with some bullshit. Hey, man, well, I'm living with a lady and her husband. Wait a minute, you don't have a place to stay, dude. And you know what I told her? She asked me what I was going to pay. I ain't going to pay nothing. And here's what I told her. Good and acceptable hoes follow instructions. That's what I told my last time. I said, good and acceptable hoes follow instructions.
Okay, they're going to follow one way or another.
We're so
and then that's the thing. Like I tell these dudes, you gotta have a pimp logic, pimp mentality. With dealing with these out of pocket women, they're like 4s and 5s, having the delusion of a 9 and 10. Like I told one of these bras, 9s and 10s don't be on dating apps. I mean the real 9s and 10s of womanhood, that's in the 10%, 1% as well. Most of y'all are 6, 7s, and 8s.
Oh yeah.
Probably a 6 on your average day, probably an 8 on your best day, and probably a 4 and 5 on your worst day. Like I told that big fat brat bro on the panel, I said, man, the only thing I'm paying for is a salad. That's it. That's the only thing I'm paying for is a salad.
Yeah. Let's finish.
And it's like. And it's like I told one dude, okay, you got a lady up there acting the fool in the parking lot. Don't say nothing. Get in your car and leave her in the parking lot. You get on logic. You go on your gear shift known as logic. You leave her on her gear shift known as stupid.
And sometimes the biggest game is know when to fight the battle and when to leave. And
yeah, man.
So a lot of these broads, you know when to leave. And
you're just gonna leave and say nothing.
Because
no share that screen, Charles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which one? Oh yeah, here we go. Gotta love it. Gotta love that shit right there. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Try to make we gotta plan a whole
like the black versions of Charlie's Angels. Who would be the voice? Who would be the voice? Who would be like the sergeant telling us, you know,
the missions and shit?
Yeah,
it has to be a female since the role reversed. You get like you get like Eartha Kitt if she was still living. Hello, niggas. Hello, Eartha.
Yeah, man. Eartha Kitt was something else, man. Like especially in Boomerang, because when she up there invited that dude to the place, man, that Black Betty was up there snickering and stuff, man, giggling. You know what I'm saying? And then what did he say? He said, Lady Eloise is very eagerly expecting.
Oh my goodness! I'm not ready.
He was sticking and everything. The dude was the one who was happening, and then he smiled and everything.
Okay.
And it's like Robert gives up there laughing. Yeah, they're laughing. He said, just because the woman up there dropped herself doesn't mean I did something.
Well, if you want to donate, Dragon Master Dwayne, you donate to the Cash App right there. Oh yeah, that's a good tasted liquor right there, boy. That's a smooth motherfucker.
I'm not even gonna play. All right, let me go. I'm sorry. I'm not talking to y'all. Let me get out of Amazon. I think I got everything I need.
Oh shit, that Amazon.
Yeah, man. Sometimes the best way to chill out and calm down is maybe to drink some Hennessy or Cavasse, just a small glass, and you be all right.
You be all right. Let's see.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
real quick.
Cashier gets shot. Change your whole mindset.
No, absolutely. The moment, the kind of brazen taking of a life, that lets me know, okay, all bets are off. At that point, it's like, it's kind of kill or be killed. But at the same time, don't be the catalyst for it turning into an OK Corral shootout.
And that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Everybody had the instruction that if he reaches for his gun before he's leaving with the girl, we're going to shoot everybody in the place.
It was probably one of the hardest acts of restraint I've had to engage in because you don't have control. There's a moment there where you're literally you're kind of in a free fall state where you're like, hopefully this shoot will open.
You got on Iversons?
You just capped the cashier, so he might just cap me. So I'm waiting for the gun to go bang while waiting for my opportunity to make my gun go bang fast enough before theirs can. Your mind is going a billion miles an hour because you're trying to assess so much. And then also trying to make sure that you do the right thing because you got to protect the person you're with. You got to make sure everybody else is pretty much, you don't cause everybody else to get shot up. But then also trying to restrain and check your anger.
Guys, for those of you down the lens, watching this, and for me playing the prosecutor, watching this frame by frame on slow-mo, that does not mean you were here in the moment. That does not mean that you heard the gunshots. That does not mean that you felt the adrenaline, everything just pumping, right? And people, you lose that being behind the lens. But for those of us who are here, we felt that. Like you felt that, right?
Yeah. And
that's something where it's going to be really important because how much discipline did that take to not try to draw on a drawn gun?
Like I told you, it's a weird kind of anger. Because that helplessness breeds that anger. It's like, how dare you? How dare you? And then the frustration combines with the anger, and you just want to do something, but you can't.
But your training and your education stopped you from doing that.
Pretty much.
That's what that came down to.
And literally in my mind, I was repeating, I was like, on an already drawn gun.
You know how frightening it is to think about what happens in the moments before?
I want you to think about that, what he said.
Right.
It's you want to react to something, but you can't. Okay? You can't. And a lot of people don't understand that scenario because even cops, as good as people think, because people think cops, well, you're trained. Well, we're not from Naruto either, nigga. So,
the thing about police officers, man, police officers are trained to be reactive, but an operative like a special forces or like a spy is trained to be proactive or anticipate.
Well, even then, there's nothing you can train against somebody having the drop on you.
Yeah, no matter how much you train, there's always going to be a scenario where it's out of your hands, it's out of control.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna play this. This is also something that, listen to this.
So let me ask you something. What's more dangerous than a bear protecting her cubs? A 70-year-old grandfather protecting his grandkids. And that's exactly what happened in Rancho.
But, I play that for a reason since, okay, we really didn't talk about black female fuckery, okay? Now, I guess I'm going to get some donations because that's what we're going to talk a little bit about. Black female fuckery. Hey,
Charles, you heard about the bear versus man question? I made a comment in one of the comments. I said, you know what? If a woman tries to approach a bear, I feel sorry for the bear.
I'm just going to tell you. Who the hell are you, Dragon Master Dwayne? You're trolling. You ain't fucking put a like on it. You didn't donate to anybody's channel. Come on, man. Stop that bullshit. And trust me, what's your background? Let's answer that question. What's your background? Because obviously, if they're calling me officer or sergeant, I have a background. So what's yours?
I mean, Charles, you talk about that big grizzly, that bear. That bear weighs at least what 800 to 1,000 pounds, but when he moves and runs, his slowest is about 70 to 80 miles per hour.
Yeah, 1,500 pounds.
I mean,
that and the polar bear.
That bear can move faster. That bear can move faster than a truck.
Yeah, it can move about 40 miles per hour.
Yeah, starting off. How can you outrun something like that?
And he climbs trees.
He climbs trees like a motherfucker.
Yeah, climbs trees like a cat.
I mean, bears are one of the best climbers in the animal kingdom, man.
Yeah. And when these women set up safer with the bear, these women are stupid. And this is the reason why I'm gonna talk about a little bit about the female fuckery. These females talk about, I don't need a man to protect me. But you got 70-year-old men who protect their grandkids. What about you?
Right.
You in a scenario, a lot of women are not protected. And it's not the men's fault, it's theirs. Continuing.
Cordova, California, when an intruder broke into a business late at night, thinking he had an easy score. What he didn't count on was the determined grandfather willing to do whatever it took to keep his family safe.
Rancho Cordova man says he was defending his family when a burglar broke into his property early this morning.
Sacramento County Sheriff's investigators say the man shot and killed that suspect. This happened at a business on Folsom Boulevard and West La Loma Drive.
Well, Cecil, Robert, he didn't want us to use his last name, and he's pretty shaken up and gets emotional talking about what happened. But he stands by his decision to shoot that intruder who broke into his business here. And then after that man was shot, he actually came out of the business and went over in between the gas station and the strip mall here and collapsed and then died in the parking lot. And Robert tells me it was self-defense.
All of a sudden, the guy, boom, kicked the door. Boom! It was that quick.
That was the moment 70-year-old Robert says he was forced to defend his life and the lives of his grandsons, ages 4 and 14.
We'd been dead, because if he would have gotten my gun when I pulled it out, because he continued to go towards me. He wasn't afraid of me.
Robert says he stays in the building, which he manages, and was asleep in the back room with the boys when the older grandchild woke him up.
Shook me. Papa, wake up. There's somebody breaking in. And I didn't hear the glass break.
Broken glass is still all over the floor, and Robert placed a large poster in the window frame. A man passing by gave us video of the crime scene when Rancho Cordova police closed off the parking lot Sunday morning. He understands why Robert pulled the trigger.
You have to protect yourself. It's you have to do it. If it's I have the kids and stuff like that, I have to protect them. I will definitely do that. It's your life, that's your blood, and you definitely have to do stuff like that.
Sheriff's deputies are investigating the deadly shooting as a homicide, but also say it should send a strong message to criminals.
Residents are fed up. Residents don't want to be a victim. Business owners don't want to be victims anymore, and they're taking their matters into their own hands. And this isn't something that we're encouraging vigilantism by any stretch, but at the same time, you have to applaud him. He demonstrated restraint. He did what he had to do to protect the people inside and including himself.
Robert says if faced with the same decision, he would put his life on the line for his family again.
Am I upset about him? Yes. I didn't want to break in, but I'm very happy that my babies are alive.
Now, Robert or the grandchildren, neither of them were hurt. Investigators.
Well, think about that, right? Men don't protect.
This will sort of remind me of this argument about patriarchy versus matriarchy. Mm-hmm. And think about these women. The gender that benefits the most from patriarchy is women. They're the one that benefit the most.
Yeah, they benefit the most.
Because me and BJS Imwell had a conversation about it, and like you said, a real galaxy and matriarchy is going to focus on the men, the boys. So it's all about which gender is focused on the most.
Hold on for a minute. Number one, if you gentlemen are supposedly military grade, military mercs for hire, then what are you doing currently online? Is automatically not smart to begin with, right? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
I mean, this dude is probably like a simp enforcer, man.
Okay, there's only one person there's only one person here that's for hire for any type of quote unquote military style service. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Share my screen, Charles.
You know, people forget, like, I gotta do this. Shout out to shout out to Louis Collier for a second. This is what they kind of call me. Yeah, so he's like, one, I'm not trolling you. I currently don't see a donation button on the live stream to give you any support money. I'm not just your average U.S. citizen. Knows that nobody plays video games. Nobody said, but why would you? You got two military vets on here, man.
And then you got right here an experienced bouncer and cooler.
Yeah, you got
and security guard and unarmed security guard. But like my first security guard was being a bouncer, cooling the club, so like that dude in Roadhouse, Dalton. You know what I'm saying?
And me, I'm just psychotic.
Yeah, you got a lot of. I'm gonna put it to you this way, right? Give me a woo in the chat if you're prior service. Okay, I'll start with myself. If you're prior service, put a woo in the chat. And I'm going to ask this question, right? I'm gonna ask this question, right? If I was a faker and a poser, wouldn't I be found out by now?
That's fact.
How many experiences that I've talked about that was pretty consistent with military life during the time I was in?
Look, how many years did you serve as a Baltimore City police officer?
14 years and 1 month.
How many years did you serve in the U.S. military beforehand?
10 years.
What do you do now for a living?
I have a security firm that specializes in armed security, executive protection, and private investigations. And later down the line, we'll be doing high-risk security.
How many employees?
I had anywhere on average, we have 7, but I could go up to 20.
In the discussion.
I'm also a nationally recognized pistol, rifle, shotgun, and CCW, protection in the home, out the home, and NRA and Maryland State instructor. I'm also a chief range officer. I'm also a chief range officer, range safety officer too. So I put a lot of time and money into my craft. If I wanted to be, I signed up for it, literally. I go to companies and I signed up to go to Iraq. I could have went years ago. But the reason I didn't, my son, what's up, Art? I had a young son to take care of. Hopefully everything's well with you, Art. But you got to realize this. I'm not on here to try to dick measure with anybody. You know what I'm saying? I've done right. Like Louis done here.
Charles.
Yeah. You lobe and anchor right there, boy.
Oh, Marine.
Marine right there. You know, there's a lot of my entire family from my nephew came in town for Thanksgiving. He's active duty in Texas. I have a cousin who's in Japan. I have another cousin in Germany. I have one of my guys who worked for me, one of my mentees. He just graduated basic. I'm an Iraq War veteran. My father's a Vietnam veteran with the Marine Corps. My grandfather was an Army veteran during the Korean. My great-grandfather, World War II. Listen, I don't.
Hey, that's a legacy of military service right there. Well, at least 3 generations?
4.
4 generations. Okay.
So it's like you got to realize that a lot of people. I never said I was special forces. Had I had the honor to work with some of them, yes. I've actually worked with a lot of our brothers in the Marine Corps when we went to Fallujah to rescue them when they were pinned down. So my service, and even working in one of the most dangerous cities in America, on one of the most dangerous posts in America, where you had an average 40 something people killed in that little post alone, 20 to 30, 40 people. Yeah, it gets hot like that in some places in Baltimore. So it's not a pissing contest. It's not like,
Right.
oh, we're not trying to be the A team. If I get hired to go to Iraq to pull high risk security for something, it's just a job. If I get hired as executive protection here in the States, it's a job. So, shout out to everybody. Shout out to our members of the fire, police, and the military, all our veterans. Shout out to our hardworking men who in the service, truck drivers, sanitation engineers, a lot of people in the food industry, and the logistics. I don't care who you are. People always talk about, the Delta Force and all that. They're great guys. Don't get me wrong. SEAL Team 6, great guys. Get all the praise in the world. But guess what? Guess who they praise? They praise the pilots. They praise the people who logistics. They praise the cooks who feed them. They praise the people who got to look after them medically. One of the most endearing interviews was a former Delta Force guy, and those guys from the Night Stalkers said, they weren't even given clearance yet, and they landed that plane to pick them up. And he said, I just wanted to shake their hand. And he says, man, you don't even got to do that. We're just doing our job for a fellow brother. But this
hey, man, look at these truckers, man. Look at these truckers. You wouldn't be able to get your stuff at the store without the truckers delivering to like Walmart or Target or whatever. Or at the fast food restaurant.
Look at AL with his truck right there. Guys like him who actually bring supplies to this country. Just basically the red blood cells of the country. Go ahead, Lewis.
And anybody that's in the military, when I came in, my MOS was 2531, and it was changed after the next commandant. It was 0621 field radio operator.
Mm-hmm.
The two most important MOSs in the entire military is 0311 Marine Corps Rifle Infantryman and 11 Bravo, which is the Army Infantryman. Every other MOS is there to assist them into being the most lethal they can be. There's only two primary MOSs, 0311 and 11 Bravo. Everybody else in the military is there to help them be the most lethal they can be. And this is from a field radio operator.
And remember, commos are your bloodline. It is very scary to go out on any mission and the comms go down. Comms go down, it's fucked. It's not about trying to, pissing contest. No. It's not about that. It's the fact that there's experience that each one of us on these panels bring. Okay? Not a lot of brothers are given platforms to speak of our experience in both military, law enforcement, armed and unarmed security, sales, esoteric knowledge, people who, do trucking and transportation industries. You have people who are in marketing, management of some sort. We have a very multifaceted mindset over here.
When I was up there growing up in Little Rock, Arkansas, I was up there learning some street stuff, man, about, real game, what the players Spencer Mack said back in the day. And then they're asking about me. He said, Matt Bone, you know what you're talking about. Okay, well, here's the thing. Number one, I'm not on child support. Number one, I'm not complaining about women every day. Number 2 and 3, I teach you how to check the woman and get rid of the woman. Step by step.
You said Dragon Master Dwayne, I'm not trying to make it a pissing contest. I'm just concerned for y'all safety to blow y'all cover online, exposing yourselves so openly. That's all.
What is there to blow? What is there to blow?
We're not giving out no nuclear secrets.
We're not telling anybody how to hurt anybody or anything. I mean, it's just, you know what I'm saying? Owning a gun in America is legal. As long as everything we buy is legal. I mean, I just literally everything I bought, like some of the gun stuff that I bought from Amazon. You know, it's legal.
I bought a lot. I bought a level 3 holster from Amazon.
Right. I mean, you know,
Safari.
We just
man, even got my own Superman shirts from Amazon.
Let me say this. This is the biggest issue that we have amongst us as black men. You can't be scared. What are you scared of? What are you scared of? As long as you're doing things legally, you worried about the Gestapo of the American government coming to kick in your door and haul you off because you made legal purchases from like Amazon and your local gun store and whatnot.
eBay.
Seriously, is this the fear tactic that we're running with?
Hey Charles.
Mm-hmm.
How many people have y'all talked off the ledge from unaliving themselves in this space? That was almost on the verge of a mental breakdown, because I was witness to a couple of them just as back then when I was just a spectator.
Too many
in the chat.
Too many,
and we had a fallen soldier in Mace Windu.
No,
I remember that, brother.
Forrest Windu.
Forrest Windu. May he rest in peace.
Yes. So a lot of the information and talking we do in these spaces is not about trying to hurt people, trying to formulate this. Like if I get hired by somebody to do some protection, that's what it is. Look, I've been a public servant for 25 fucking years. You can literally look up how much I fucking made per year. That's how open it is. What the I'm not plotted to black ops. They're not taking my name tag off. I'm not doing have I done some very crazy things and crazy missions? Yes, but I'm an open person. I'm a public servant for so many years.
And Charles Faulkner has given out a lot of information that was priceless. He should have charged, honestly, to help a lot of people out. BGS.
I appreciate that.
My brother embraced villainy with his social commentary and his common sense that is, for some people, is a little too caustic, but I think it's much needed. There have been plenty of people, and I'm not here to toot my own horn, but I was warning people years ago to help. Even the information that I gave, if it would have saved one person that was able to react in the time to provide for their family when I was warning about the food prices and everything going up. You have Art of Itmore that's here in the chat that has given out for years priceless information. These people should have been financially compensated for their information and their knowledge, but they're giving away for free.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about it.
Remind me of the old black professor in college I used to know back in the day.
Go ahead.
What's up, Detroit 313?
Let me help the whole situation out. Because when you came in, what you saw was us doing the whole Colin Noir self-defense videos, because the whole conversation is really about self-defense based on what's getting ready to go down in this country. I mean, we're still not even out of the Biden presidency, and stuff is getting out of hand with him sending now more money and weapons to Ukraine this week. All right, trying to help the Cheneys get their money back from Kamala Harris, who blew over. We already know she blew the money. She owed the money. The Chinese want they goddamn the profit, the war that they was promised. So Biden is trying to give them the at least some form of them getting their money back because they're war profiteers. Now, because they know once Trump come into office, he gonna have to sit down with Putin. You already got world leaders as much as these MSNBC Negroes sitting up here talking about Mexico and Canada. They not going and then as you can see, they folded almost immediately within even last 48 hours before they said, you know what, we give up. What you want us to do, Trump? I mean, but the whole thing is what we're looking at right now heading into this new presidency. Do you really think that these illegals are going to go peacefully?
No,
they're not.
They're not.
No, they're not.
Terrorist cells. Trump even said it today. You've got terrorist cells sitting here in the United States that were waiting for orders. They're marching orders. They have to be rooted and gutted out. That's why it's silly to sit up here and see mayors talking about we're not gonna give up our illegals. Well, goddamn it, I will push them to your front fucking door. I'll push them to your
man, instead of 6 more men in Dallas, a whole bunch of Venezuelans over here.
Yeah, I mean, good Lord. In all honesty, right now, I know I said this the last time. One of my closest friends said the day after the election, now's the time to buy a gun. And I'll say it again. If you're just now saying that, you're too late. You're too late because not only do you have to size up which gun is right for you, you have to get your license. You have to wait for the 5-day waiting period. Then you got to buy ammo. You got to go to the range and learn how to shoot it. All right, you can't just be sitting up here with it Glocktavia style, turned to the side. You'll kill.
Hey man, the time to buy the gun was back in 2019.
Can I say something right quick?
Go ahead.
And here's the fucking problem. How come Embrace Villainy only has 259 subscribers?
It's a new channel.
Wait. If you look at his catalog, all right, he gave plenty of streams where he gave out valuable information onto what stocks to get and what to trade, and he made a lot of money off of it.
Let me tell you how good he was. How the fuck he find out about something that happened in my city before I knew it?
Oh, you mean what was going on? Safe Streets and all that stuff?
Yeah, the Safe Streets and the bridge. Well, I had a suspension of Safe Streets, but the bridge thing amazed me because I was like, I didn't get nothing on none of my media yet.
Well, I had found that out, and I called you and Charles.
Yeah, you called me. Remember, I was in bed. I just got off the phone with you, and I went and jumped in bed, and you called me like, "Hey, they knocked the bridge down in Baltimore." I'm like, "What the fuck?" I can't run it back downstairs. But the reason why the Embrace Villainy channel doesn't have at least 300 subscribers is because it's a new channel. The Bitter Truth Show channel, y'all know, had 4,600 subscribers.
But it's criminal.
No, man, look what's happening in Dallas, Texas with these concept frames.
Look, hold on. For me, it's fine. I don't care. If don't nobody want to listen, it's no fucking sweat off my nose. I don't do this for a living. I'm not here to entertain a motherfucker. All right. I don't get caught up in the bullshit. This is the information. You can take it or leave it. Like you said, if I can save one person, then I've done my job. I live by it. Go ahead.
Yeah, this my and you're absolutely right. But this is my personal rant. Charles should be at fucking 10 to 20,000 people, subscribers. If this was the straight up black women ain't shit fuckery, you would have like 1,000 people in here. But we're not doing that. We're giving out information. And that's indicative of the people that watch. If we was ragging black women left and right, you would have a bunch of people. But we're giving out information that can help someone.
Right.
You have BGS give out information on politics, geopolitics, or whatever, something educational, he'll get like 200-300. If he do the black female fuckery, he have damn near 1,000.
Yeah, you got to think about
And
this.
look at Ron Wills and Warren Bones, Pimp God. Ron Wills should have at least 300,000 subscribers because, and I told that dude that dude Man of Tomorrow this. I said, Man Tomorrow, Ron Wills ain't just talking about women. He has the other two channels, Deep Thought and Money Matter. And then in some of his videos, he talking about some esoteric stuff. Pimp God, what your mom should have told you. He talks about some esoteric stuff too, more than just dealing with women.
He should be at 1 million.
And so like I told them, they'll call me Mac Bone. They asked me what a Mac is. I said a Mac is the one that has game, skills, and resources. And the typical example of a Mac is King Solomon. King Solomon had what? Wisdom and
and I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead,
David Carroll should be at 1 million. Even with him dead, may he rest in peace. He should be at 1 million subscribers. The information that he was given for years.
You know what it is? It's confirmation bias.
What are you talking about? He talking about that black pastor and those white liberals. He talking about that too.
I have his entire library. And if I feel like traumatizing people, I should release his all his stuff that was on FS Avenger and Venmo.
Hey, David Carroll was the reason why I subscribed to FS Avenger.
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you what's really frustrating. When you have people, and deep down inside, we try to help our people as much as we can. You don't want people like us to be like, it's over. They're done.
Right.
Secretly, we're starting to become that way. I only can save who I can save if they knew they needed to be saved. What did Harriet Tubman say? I freed thousands of slaves, or free for thousands more if they knew they were slaves.
And with Harriet Tubman, Charles, that shotgun wasn't for the white man.
Mm-hmm. It was for in case you trying to
tell. For the house niggas that don't going to sell them out.
Ain't no going back once you cross that line. Once you cross that line, ain't no going back.
You gonna get freedom one way or another. You can be able
to you say we talk about ARC, Alan Roger Curry.
No, yeah.
I mean, look at Al Roger Curry, the true godfather of the Black Panther, not Kevin Samuels. And the thing about him, what y'all up there arguing with this dude Al Roger Curry for when he's worshipped like a god, even in the white manosphere?
You got to think about
it. A whole bunch of white boys bragging about him. Al Roger Curry has been on what shows? Sally Jesse Raphael, Oprah, all sorts of TV shows.
Hey, Ella Roger Curry been on my show.
And then the thing about him, I've had some private phone conversations with him when I was a Patreon subscriber.
Yeah.
And I remember the last time I FaceTimed with him before he passed, I told him about my experience about how I use Mode 1. Like I told him about how I got to this woman.
Why is it Green Gorilla? Why is it Dr. Hill? Why is it Dr. P. Hassan at 1 million?
Well, at least 100,000. At least. And see, this is where I got to come out and say it.
Right.
I'm looking at you, black man. These channels, and there's something I always hold near and dear to my heart about like being his dad. A lot of you motherfuckers who call yourself so-called conscious back in the day, 9 times out of 10 probably got a video or a DVD from out their fucking store.
If you have,
because I knew of his store back then. I didn't know exactly who they were, but we knew about that shit in Baltimore.
If you ever watched the videotape from Culture with Culture Communications on it, that's
talking about conscious. Talking about conscious. Put my camera up.
We'll get this.
It's not. It wasn't Black Media. It was Culture Communications. That was flat out.
Yeah, because it's like this. All your favorite videos and shit that came out.
I mean, that's the channel that features also Bobby Hemmett. That channel you just talked about features Bobby Hemmett.
Yeah, we made Bobby. Well, let me take that back. We didn't make Bobby Hemmett. We just promoted Bobby Hemmett.
Yeah, he was promoted, and also Dr. Delbert Blair was promoted on that
Chicken
channel
Man.
too.
Well, look at that.
And Delbert Blair turned out to be right. Ain't that some shit? Dr. Delbert Blair turned out to be right.
Look.
But
And man, I remember when Dr. Delbert Blair talked about the video, the sun apocalypse, the solar
Let me
apocalypse.
tell you though.
That's one
Let
of
me
the
tell you
biggest
about
videos.
Hold on for a second, fellas. Detroit 313. You said the phrase that pays. You probably have the best statement here. Yet they got FD signifier on some nearly 1 million subscriber shit. Oh yeah. Think about that. Do you want FD signifier to control the narrative of the Black Manosphere? Yes, with his zesty crying ass.
Dude, I don't even care.
You know, and I'm just saying for the people who do.
Geopolitics.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about.
You know why I don't care?
The whole Dr.
You know why I don't care?
COVID-19 reset. Heard about that book too, man. Thanks for showing that book, man. Heard about that
There's
book
a
too.
subscriber count. When he mentioned the subscriber count, you can blame a decent percentage of the reason why it's not getting pushed like how we think it would, you know, which is because of YouTube, you know. YouTube, you know, they're a reason too, you know what I mean? So, you know, all the subscribers can share, you know, his content even through their Facebook and other social media platforms.
Thank you, BGS.
Wait.
BGS,
What
thank
does
you.
this?
Yeah.
Okay, look.
Instagram,
Early Things had 1 million subscribers. Well, what did her view count look like?
That's a good question.
I'm not saying anything towards, you know, the dude. I'm just saying Pearl had 1 million subscribers, and we all know you can buy.
Yeah, I read that book a long time ago, 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah,
and thing about that book, I discussed on the panel. And I told them, man, the most important part of that book, 48 Laws of Power, is that the foundation of power is self-mastery. And if you don't develop self-mastery, reading that book, 48 Laws of Power, is a waste of time.
Like I'm gonna just tell you
that the most important part of that book, self-mastery.
There's a lot of shit out there where you're being suppressed. And this is the reason why Black men need to galvanize and say, look, we support you. There's a reason why, and I know I don't do it for the money because obviously we ain't making that much, but I do appreciate my subscribers and anybody who does donate. I greatly appreciate it because you're telling me that whatever I gave you was worth your money, your hard-earned money, and your time. You have to get into the habit of supporting your interests. Did you not learn this political season that just passed? How powerful. It shocked Black men how powerful you are. You just shook the cup. You didn't even knock it over. Imagine when the gubernatorial and these representative and these senator elections come up in 2 years. Now we're about to knock over the goddamn table if you keep it up. See, how many guys, if I was kissing white people's asses with my background, which is even more extensive than Brad and Tatum, you think I couldn't hit 1 million? See, what you got to do is you got to step over the good white people, man.
I remember my mama told me back in the day, she said, son, the reason why people kiss ass is because they want to either get something for nothing or get away with something.
Yeah. And when you think about this shit, right? I want you to really think about this shit. You get a guy like Brandon Tatum.
Oh, yeah.
He's able to make what? Lee Coleman. Because there's plenty. You can't be telling me you're a police officer and you don't see white fuckery. It's impossible.
Hey, who are most of the people that get shot by the police? White people, especially white men.
But because we're such emotional creatures, guess who's going to say, Well, no. Even to this day, when black women got upset with black men, don't call us when you get shot by the police. But you don't want to talk the narrative that you the motherfuckers who called them there in the first place.
I mean,
Hey, you know
who be
what?
calling
And I got a
the police
theory.
on black men the most? Black women.
I have a theory, Charles. I think after the unfortunate incidences that happened over the past few years, that these mothers intentionally raise their sons hoping that they'll get killed by the cops so they could cash out.
I mean, if you can't make the NFL or NBA, the next bet is to make you a martyr.
And
Yeah,
I
man,
said it. I said
like I'm
it.
a.
Antonio was shot. Quick, call me, Crump.
Hey,
They
Charles, I'm Gen
create
X 1.0. Go
Felantonio.
ahead.
They
Mhm.
create Felantonio.
Oh yeah, every Antonio, if he can't get out there, if he can't push a ball 100 yards down a field, if he can't put a ball through a hoop,
He's better off being a martyr.
he's better off being a martyr, or at least while before he dies, at least he can sell that rock.
Yep. Put him on the altar to sacrifice for Big
And guess
Mama.
what?
Yeah, you know, I remember back in the day because I was born in 1969. I'm Generation X 1.0, Generation X Alpha. And I remember, man, my mama, she was one of those little sisters, man, that would do their best. I mean, like Christmas Kiss talk about the feminine ward. They talk about really, you know, promoting black masculinity with their family, especially with their sons. And I remember back in the day when this white contractor was up there working on our house, up there saying I'm going to be a basketball player, my mama said, no, my son is going to be a business owner. My son is going to be a thinker. My son is going to use education to get himself out of the hood, not singing a song or playing basketball.
Yeah.
Because I remember my mama told me, man, the most guaranteed way to get up out of the hood is education.
Yeah.
Hey, Charles.
Especially the education that produces wealth. When you become an owner, not a pawn.
Okay.
Hey, Charles.
Yeah.
This is for your Christians that actually read the Bible. you have your mothers that's giving their sons up on the altar of Moloch to sacrifice for the almighty dollar in the modern day.
I want you to think about it, right? I want you to think about this, and I want everybody to get their opinion. During this election, they didn't give a fuck if their sons had education. They didn't give a fuck if their sons were homeless or not getting jobs. For the most part, they pretty much didn't give a fuck about their daughters. But all they cared about is if I could take an innocent baby's life. Well, you know, it's a parasite. What's a parasite by definition?
Somebody that saps your energy resources without giving something back.
Parasite.
Yeah.
An organism that lives on or inside another organism called the host it gets its food from. Now, when you want to talk about a child being a parasite, does that sound like it has a negative connotation to it?
Yes, it does.
So
when you finish, call me to the row.
Huh?
When you're done, call me to the row.
Okay. So what does that look like? She has a negative connotation towards childbirth and child rearing. So she's not going to put all that emphasis into cultivating that child. So she's looking for herself to see what she could get out of this child instead of reversal. But go ahead, babe. You got the floor.
All right. Sorry. I went to go get me a bottle of water. So here's who's the real parasite here. Because when you look at the eviction rates for Black women, because understand the last I checked, they're the highest eviction of it. They're the highest evicted at 6.5%. The second highest is white women at 3.6%. All right, so it's pretty much cut in half. But who's the real parasite here? The average age of Black women's evictions normally is between the ages of 40 and 55. The reasons for that is when you have a child and you're getting child support and it's supplementing your income, when that child turns 18, that income, that supplemental income is gone. Most women do not, especially if you're getting, thousands of dollars a month. They're not investing that money. They're not putting that money up. They are wasting it monthly because it's always coming. All right. Financial illiteracy. Or if they're not getting the child support, they're getting the government assistance. In order for you to maintain your benefits on government assistance, such as your welfare checks, your food stamps, your Section 8 or whatnot, you have to make under the poverty level. What is under the poverty level here in the United States in order for you to maintain your benefits? Is it what, 20,000, 25,000, under 30? Under
the pound, it would be like $12,000, $18,000 a year.
Okay, so you're pretty much working at like a Church's Chicken or a Popeyes or a Walmart or a Walgreens, something like that, as a cashier or something like that. Okay, so you're not really making any real money. Once again, when that child turns 18, the government already knows that the benefits stop or they get cut in half. You can no longer afford where you live, especially when you're looking at today's housing costs, where the average price of an apartment is $2,000 a month.
And that's the one bedroom.
Right. So you're losing out. So these women this is why you have a Drea Michelle at 40 getting pregnant by a 20-something-year-old basketball player. Okay.
So this is why you have
right. This is why you have these cougars doing the reach back, because they know that these young dudes will lay up with them, because young dudes are thirsty. They will screw anything, especially if it's at least halfway decent. You telling me Tracy Ellis Ross can't go out here and get her a fresh little 20-some-year-old rookie in the NBA with that hot body she got? Doesn't matter that she's 50. She walk into an arena in a cat suit.
And some thirsty ass nigga who was beating their dick to her 15 years ago.
Right.
For it. And shout out to
Hey, what did David Carroll said? Find them, fuck them, then flee, right?
Well, here's the problem. These guys, as Brittany Renner said in one of her little mini freakouts in her car, these guys don't like to wear condoms, so they're easy to trap with a baby. Speaking of which, Miss Fumble Bag Crash Out Queen herself, the dude, I don't know if y'all understand the stipulations that what was the guy that she had the baby by? What was his name? Something PJ Washington.
Yeah,
PJ
Washington. The stipulations that he had for her was, hey, we get married, you move into the house, you have access to any of these cars that I have in the garage, and I give you a stipend of $60,000 a month. Just raise the kid. That's all I want you to do. But I get to go out on the road and fuck these hoes. She had a problem with that and was like, well, I get to continue to sell coochie then if that's what you're going to do. I'm sorry. Any woman worth her salt would have looked at what he said and been like, don't bring home no diseases and no babies.
And don't embarrass me.
Right. And don't embarrass me, because I will have your ass sitting up here like Vanessa Bryant. Do you understand me? Right. Do you understand me? Because look at what Vanessa Bryant struggling right now?
Oh,
no. Well, okay. Is Brittany Renner crashing out on Pearl on a show that Pearl was paying for? Is she struggling right now?
No.
Brittany Renner's not struggling right now.
Struggling hard.
She's struggling hard. This chick done put on the burqa and whatnot in order
became
to
Muslim, right?
huh?
So Brittany Renner's been struggling since she became Muslim, right?
Well, that's what made her decide that she's not actually Muslim. She's just wearing the burqa as a brand deal because she needs the money.
No.
Oh, she up there putting on like a sales pitch, another sales pitch.
Yes, remember the internet is not a real place.
What they call the metaverse.
You got married influencers who look like she live in a very nice house getting arrested for stealing from Target.
Oh yeah.
Showing herself picking out the items, showing herself going to the register. She scanned one item, she didn't scan the rest. Show her with the bags, you put them in the car, and then trying them on, doing the try on, and then of course, open up.
Mm-hmm.
Mary, you think it's hard right now?
Uh-oh.
Do you think it's hard right now? I mean, it's bad enough as a parasite, as a female parasite. It's bad enough that you're losing your child support and your government benefits because what you called a parasite has turned 18. Since we're talking about the parasite that you carry. Because that parasite turned 18, you are no longer able to suckle on somebody's teeth, be it another man or the government's. So therefore, you have now lost your residency. You're sitting up here seal clapping that your local Walmart is empty on a Black Friday, thinking that it's some pro-blackity black bullshit when it's not. It's the economy, stupid. Not thinking that if that Walmart in your area closes, I mean, you may be able to drive to the next grocery store or whatnot, but you're not one of the thousands of people that walk through that door every fucking day, depending on it for food, medicine, clothes, all the things that Walmart sells that people actually need, not want, need. Because when a Walmart closes, what happens to that area? What does it become?
A fucking graveyard.
Yeah, graveyard. It becomes a food desert.
Food desert, yeah.
It becomes a food desert. Heaven help you if there's not a Kroger across the street. Like, I got out here. There's a Kroger. I can go to Walmart, Kroger. If I want to save money, I go to Kroger. But if I just want to make a quick stop, I go to Walmart. I mean, that's just, to me, that's a luxury, because usually they don't sit next to each other like that because of zoning laws.
Hey, Bay, let me know when you finish.
Huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me know when you finish.
Right. Okay, I'm almost done. So my thing is, you're seal clapping, but what happens is if these stores, a fast food restaurant, a Walmart, a grocery store, what's it called? A Walgreens, whatever. When those shut down, you're looking anywhere between 14 to 300 people being out of work. What happens to those people in a system where it's already strained? You have to wait in line for months on end just to apply for benefits, just to have your case heard. What happens to those people?
They get decimated, starved to death. They go to criminality.
Exactly. Why do you think this is why I preach self-defense? This is why I preach self-defense. I mean, it was bad enough I was doing it in Ohio because, I mean, I was up there with crazy white folks, okay? But now I'm down here in Atlanta, and I'm watching the poverty just creep up quickly.
And
we have migrants in our area.
Atlanta's supposed to be Black Mecca.
Hey, the rise of inflation.
Go ahead, Lewis.
All right. Hello, everybody. We are almost at the 3-hour mark. Welcome to the dual cast stream. The
The
subject
Three Hard Way.
title of this stream is Monday Night Toxic Masculinity with your host, the officer of the goddamn law, Charles Faulkner Jr.
Woo!
Hell has been gracious to open up and allow us to have Embrace Villainy to share his great information tonight, and myself, Red Pill Sleeper Cell. I'd like to thank everyone who's here listening on respective channels, whoever you're listening to, mine, Charles, or Bays. Please like, subscribe, and share the channel. And if you're financially able, please donate to our Cash App. If you're able to, a whole lot of ones are better than a whole lot of nuns. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the saying. I'm gonna just say this. There have been years that people like myself, BGS, Bay, Red Pill Sleeper Cell, Chaos Rain, and others have warned people about,
LAR movement still moving. Yeah,
oh yeah,
that dude.
LAR as well. You know, we've warned people about. You do know there's going to come a time where shit's going to get hot and heavy. This video that's been up here, this is a grandfather who has a business and lives at his business. The motherfuckers were breaking in. They were not afraid of his gun. So that means that motherfucker was really desperate or he was on drugs. And this is the reason why I tell a lot of females, well, you know, I don't need a gun. It's either I don't need a gun or I got a gun and I don't need training. What happens when that motherfucker snatches it from you? And when you have your firearm, do you have extra magazines with you? Nobody talks about that, do they? Because guess what? What happens when that shit jams or you have a bad mag? You do know that happens in the military a lot, right? Right, Lord?
Yeah.
You know,
what happened? Like Charles over there at the Academy, they got like those ammo bags on sale now.
Oh yeah,
at Academy Outdoor Sports.
Oh yeah, and some people need to understand because we're in wintertime, you might need to change your ammo to a special ballpoint because it might get, depending on your type of ammo, it might get caught up in those thick clothing and thick coats that everybody wears now that is cold as shit. You got to use sports.
And use preventive maintenance on your firearm.
Did you oil your fucking weapons? Because it's cold. Oil them. There's certain things. Do you carry a knife? In case, do you know how to keep retention on your weapon?
Right.
To put it down and away and try to go into a wall if somebody's trying to fight you for the gun. To press into you should have a knife on your opposite side, probably two, one on your pocket and one somewhere hidden to defend yourself. What's the rule I gave a lot of rookies?
You know, speaking of knives, that's my specialty.
The gun protects you. The knife protects the gun.
Right.
So a lot of tactics that people don't even understand. This is the real world. This ain't just, you know, we could talk about black female fuckery a lot because, you know, black female fuckery caused a lot of issues. But at the same time, black female fuckery is not the end all and be all of the planet. You got a guy who got less than almost 2 months, who's got almost 2 months left of power, is hell bent on starting World War III.
That's crazy.
But yet, these females wanted to vote this bitch in.
Hey, Charles.
Go ahead.
Put my camera up. Go ahead, finish what you're saying.
But not one of these motherfuckers want to condemn the war. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That K-bar.
Oh, yeah. That's a knife right there. The K-bar? Hell, yeah. I got to get one of those.
Yeah. You're right, LAPD SWAT. Whatever happened to basic map reading? Whatever happened to that shit? Basic map reading. Using
especially along with a compass.
What happened to time down shit? Have you even visited your local hardware an outdoor store lately? Like a lot of motherfuckers haven't even got lawn johns.
At the very least, you should carry mace.
Demon King Satan. Yeah, what?
God damn it, sorry. At the very least, you should carry mace.
Most people don't know the difference between mace and pepper spray.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's true. People don't know the difference between mace and pepper spray.
Hey, Charles.
Yes, sir.
You know I still got my polypros.
Oh man, mine's just so ripped the fuck up.
Hey, what that dude said in Under Siege too, he said, and mace is a pepper spray. He said, once you get used to it, clears the sinuses.
Pepper spray. Like I tell people, learn how to. Here's a funny thing about it, right? For all you guys who got kids that are school age. And what did I say to Bay one time on the phone? When we go to a bank, do we protect our money very highly?
Yeah.
But do we protect our kids with the same levels of security?
Most people don't.
Yeah, most people don't.
Think about that.
See their children as.
Oh yeah, that will knock you in the ass.
Oh that baton, the baton, yeah.
Even if
I'm
you
glad
hit
you showed
the
baton, man. That comes in handy too. And the thing about that baton, that pro baton, you can put it in like one of your pockets, especially wearing cargo pants.
You got a holster.
You got a holster for it, yeah.
And I tell people, especially for some of you who catch the bus, like you got to remember, a lot of you ladies, if you got a daughter in college, get her some mace, get her a knife, teach her how to use it, teach her to run. Your job is not to stand there and fight the epic battle. Run. Spray them.
I mean, that's the best form of self-defense is running.
Learn how to strike vital points.
Hey, learn how to use everyday items as weapons, like pens, some paper clips.
Mm-hmm. If you ever use your goddamn common sense when it comes to active situations, not just shooters. When you go into a restaurant, this is what I want people to do. Learn where all the exits are. You might actually want to sit next to one.
That's why I sit facing the exits. Back to the wall, facing the exits.
Mm-hmm. You might want to actually get a seat where you can face the door. You might
situational awareness.
Mm-hmm. You might
get a seat that's close to the door.
You might want to eat with plastic food, plastic forks, or whatever, but you might want to still have the silverware for weaponry.
Yeah, silverware, especially the fork.
You might actually, if you give a fuck about your kids, the same price you may pay for those expensive clothes they're going to grow the fuck out of before the year ends for Christmas, you might want to pay for wrestling training, boxing training.
Yeah, boxing. That's another one of my specialties is boxing. And then, like, if you're in a restaurant, you can use that ceramic plate as a throwing weapon.
It's like like on Facebook, I had a little disagreement with Dennis Sperling when he said you should learn jiu-jitsu. And I said, this is my belief. I've said, look, jiu-jitsu is too static. I like it. I like Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You can learn a lot from it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A good old fitness training. Get your kids. I'm glad you point that out too, Lewis, because how many parents are investing in their kids' fitness? You know, you may not be fast enough to go into what if your kids are at school, shoot the kids zigzag. But if you're a lazy roly poly, guess what the fuck you're gonna be? An easy target.
Look, horses and water. Horses and water.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they're not yours. You can teach. Look, I have tried to teach target practice. The furthest I could get was with a bow and arrow, but not with an airsoft gun. And I'm like, do you really think they're going to be walking around with a bow and arrow on their back? Like, I mean, come on. I swear,
Hey,
oh my
Charles.
God.
I mean, we haven't got to the point of the Walking Dead situation yet, though.
Wait, hold on. I'll never forget.
We haven't got to that point yet.
I gave one a
Make
thing
my
of
thumb respond.
I gave one a thing of mace, and that turned before we even got home. It turned into a whole situation because where they were, they didn't want them to have the mace. Keep in mind, this was during the time in Ohio where white people were calling the cops on black folks. Black folks was getting shot and everything and whatnot. I mean, you know, you had racial violence in high schools and everything. So it's like, okay, here, at least have this just in case. And that turned into a situation to where I had to go and confiscate the mace. Us as black folks, I don't know what it is about us and the inability or the lack of desire of self-protection. You know, since we supposedly live in a violent white supremacist and we just elected a Nazi racist fascist that's going to shoot us in the back. You know, I mean, you're so anti self-defense that it's ridiculous. It's almost like you want to die.
Hey, does anybody remember that movie back in the day came out called The Brotherhood of Death? About those three brothers who went to Vietnam, and then they came back to the southern town and found out, you know, a lot of black folks being terrorized by the KKK and everything. But they used what they learned in the special forces of Vietnam to effectively, you know, take care of the KKK and other racist white folks, you know, especially the stuff they learned from the Viet Cong.
Yeah.
And that's very similar, man, the Brotherhood of Death.
Why do you think that they're adamantly against having black boys go to the military, go to boxing, go to wrestling? You know why? Because they're scared he's going to use it against them.
Right. I mean, like Shaft told the dude when he told me he held that thing like a white man, and Shaft told the dude, "You don't think at all, dude."
Like, you got to think about it. Why are they hell bent on making victims? Because they're scared as hell if that boy gets any fucking type of training, he can take me out. So
Right.
what does your parents do? What do you usually get in the black community? Because you're mostly raised by women. Number
They
one,
emasculate you.
you're emasculated.
Put you down mentally.
You're emasculated. Then on top of that, you get into a situation with another kid. Your mother yells at you and say, "You better learn. You better fight back." But the only thing I want you to really capture the essence of what I'm saying. Your mother says you should fight back, but guess what? She never taught you how to do.
I taught you how to fight.
She never taught you. And see, the thing about fighting, there's both an art and a science to it.
Yeah.
And you never taught me how to fight, because if I knew how to fight, I may be able to prevent you from beating my ass and just bullying me. Because I'm gonna tell you, the first bully a lot of kids do get in the black community
is their mother,
their mom,
their mothers. Oops, I said it.
or their sister, or their sisters,
or their sisters, or their grandmothers. The first bullies you get, and as soon as they notice you getting big and strong,
they send you to their father.
If you're lucky, if you're lucky, or they'll try to put you out.
Hey, when I became ram bunches in my early teens, I was to live with my uncle for a few years.
They'll put you out.
Because a lot of the advice I share on the panel is what I learned from my uncle Slick.
Yep. They'll try to put
and
you out.
And then he told me, you up there talking about reading these deep books, you need to read these books by Iceberg Slim, especially Pimp and Anti-Will in Me. You don't need, there's some stuff that the church can teach you. There's some stuff that, the books teach you. You got to learn the stuff that the streets can teach you.
Yeah.
Hey, Charles.
Go ahead.
I'm surprised the CIA or military intelligence never got black women as interrogators, because they could break you down mentally.
Oh, yeah, they'll break you down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, boy, I'm surprised.
Psychological warfare, they mastered it.
Oh, yeah, I'm surprised, because that's the part of it. When you don't fall for their shit. When you're not falling for their shit, you become public enemy.
Right.
You ain't shit, just like your daddy.
Mm-hmm. And it just breaks you down, because into a circle of failure. You ain't shit, but you always got to take care of your mama.
And that's why that's why like Mr. Lucario and Miles Cunningham and Ron was talking about. It's about, real game is about real manhood, having your masculine identity, being consistent about it. Like Ron Will said in one video, you got too many, weak males that want to embrace weakness instead of embrace, masculinity and strength.
Well, that's the reason why. That's one of the reasons why is like, look at what you have in the community itself.
Right.
Do we promote strength above all? No.
No, we don't.
We promote recklessness. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we promote dysfunction, entertainment, social media, and religion.
Yeah.
And also putting the woman on the pedestal. Like I told one person, "Oh, you think that the black woman is God?" No, man, the black woman is stupid. She's always there.
How are you my God when I can slap you to the floor with 30% power?
A God is three things: a creator, a maintainer, and a destroyer. Now, I might give you the part about being a destroyer.
Generator, operator, destroyer, right? God, generator, operator, destroyer. And a lot of black women ain't good at being a generator operator.
Somebody's been listening to C. Freeman.
You ain't slapping no big bitch to the ground like that. I'll tell you that.
Well, yeah,
40% power.
40% power. The average chick is hurt in the hospital, but yet she's a goddess. I said, no. A lot of you have become a goddamn shame, and it's not towards the men you date; it's the men you birth. It's
what the nation was say back in the day? It said the black man is God, right? It didn't say the black woman's God. It said the black man is God.
No. This is the
Play
thing.
that right there.
Wait. To the black, in their minds, to the black man, she is God.
It's
Her God.
the same shit with you. Why are you running up on me, bro? Why are you running up on me like that? Why are you running up on me like that? You are too young to be acting like that. So what? You know what? I'm gonna call the police.
Call whoever you want to call.
I'm gonna call the police. I'm gonna call the police. You better stop grabbing my phone. You better stop grabbing my phone like you grown. You better stop grabbing my phone like you grown.
You can't put me out of nothing.
Yes, I can put you out.
Like I said, I'm gonna go do what I want to do. This is my house.
What?
I'll help pay the bills. I don't care.
What bills you help pay?
Mom, you can't put
What
me
bills
nowhere.
could you help play?
You my mama. I'm your son. You can't tell me where to go.
But if you're gonna be
Can't tell me
running up
where to
on me
go.
like that, you're gonna get up out of here. And you're
Every
gonna be
day I'm
acting like
outside
this.
hitting blocks.
Why are you
Come
going to
back.
sleep with a ski mask on?
So why'd you post me on
Oh.
social media talking about?
What you mean
I'm
why
your
I'm posting on
son.
social media? Because look how
I'm
you
out
act.
here. It's for
You
real.
just-
I don't
you say,
care.
this is for my protection and for my
I don't
safety.
care about none of that.
It's for my protection and my
Man,
safety.
get back. Get back.
Ain't no get
Get
back.
back.
I'm not getting
Get
back.
back.
I'm
I
not
got
getting
God
back.
needs a
I'm
phone
not
for
getting back.
protection.
Everything on
You
spinning
better
these
get
blocks.
back. You
and
better
slide
get
on
back.
it. I don't, what?
You better get back.
What?
Oh, come on, man.
Watching this, all I keep hearing in my mind is, I don't need no man to raise my child. I don't need no man to raise my child.
What my man
You,
Paul
you,
Wilson.
you know, Charles.
Hey, LT Wilson. Hey, LT Wilson. What they say? Purity God, right? You know.
You know that they go
Oh
by the
yeah,
Greek.
the
Hey,
Avengers.
Charles. They
Puny
they
God.
go by the Greek aspects of God because there's a pantheon, there's levels. For black men, the black woman is God, and their God is Zaddy.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty much like you said. It's a pantheon. It's a hierarchical chart. It's a hierarchy.
Yeah. Like you know, like the thing about what does the pimp say? The first place where you slap a heifer is not on her body, but you slap a heifer in the mind.
And you got to think about it. There's no greater pimp than the United States government.
That's right. Hey, that was an old saying back in the day. While the black men pimped the women, the white bands are the pimping nation.
Mm-hmm. You got to think about it. Look at Uncle Sam. What does he dress like?
He dressed like a pimp.
So what does that
I mean,
tell you?
Uncle Sam got the top hat, the suit, and got the nice shoes.
Yep, he got the top hat. The
Pointing
vest.
his finger, telling you, you better have my money.
Bitch, you better have my money. And guess what? Let me show you this right quick. Since we on the rabbit hole, probably got about 15 minutes anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a treat, right? Shout out to General Discharge. You know, remember, give Coleon a like because we use this. Let's be fair, we use this material. He probably doesn't even notice because we're such a small channel. Here's the trip. Y'all didn't know this, right? We're going to watch these two videos. Can you see them? We're going to watch this one first.
Law enforcement and government. These entities are typically underpublicized, under the radar, or just aren't known by many. So we go as deep as possible to find you the information. Chances are, you've probably never heard of what we're going to talk about in this video today. So let this unknown voice tell you about this unknown entity. IRS Special Agents.
Remember what we said, who's the biggest pimp, right? These is bottom bitches collecting the money. Finishing.
You know what they say, there's only two things certain in life, death and taxes. Have you done your taxes yet this year? Maybe after this video, you just might. You wouldn't want one of these guys kicking down your door. Yes, the IRS, which stands for Internal Revenue Service, isn't just a bunch of accountants. It has its own special agents, which are officially referred to as Criminal Investigation Special Agents. We're going to cover who they are, what they do, their training, and much more. Oh, and before we continue, please consider subscribing, as 84% of our viewers aren't subscribed. It would be greatly appreciated. IRS special agents are first and foremost investigative accountants. They are forensic accountants searching for evidence of criminal conduct. They work under the IRS CI, which is a federal law enforcement agency that mainly deals with financial crimes and violations of the Internal Revenue Code. What's that, you say? It's pretty much a bunch of rules and stuff about taxes. That's all you need to know. Believe it or not, we're not accountants here at General Discharge. These guys do what they do well. Over 90% of those they prosecute for federal tax violations are convicted. So chances are, if one of these agents comes knocking at your door, you're most likely going away for a while. Or you got a hefty fine you're going to be paying. This is their current badge. As you can see, it says Department of Treasury on it because the IRS falls under the Department of Treasury. IRS Special Agents operates under 21 field offices scattered throughout the United States. Their offices are located in Atlanta, Boston, Charlotte, Chicago, Cincinnati, Dallas, Denver, Detroit, Houston, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Miami, Newark, New York, Oakland, Philadelphia, Phoenix, Seattle, St. Louis, Tampa, and Washington, D.C., which is where their headquarters is located. They also have locations in other countries, but we won't get into that. IRS special agents fill a unique niche in the law enforcement community. They are financial investigators first and foremost, with many of them trained up with finance and accounting. A lot of them are even CPAs, which, in case you didn't know, stands for Certified Public Accountant. Due to the increased use of automation for financial records, CI special agents are trained to recover computer evidence. Along with their financial investigative skills, they use specialized forensic technology to recover financial data that may have been encrypted, password protected, or hidden by other electronic means. Here's another fun fact. IRS special agents are the only employees within the IRS authorized to carry and use firearms. They receive training in handguns, shotguns, and rifles. If they're working undercover, they may carry and use pretty much any common firearm. IRS special agents also execute arrest and search warrants, technical surveillance, building entry, non-lethal defensive tactics training, and serve as dignitary protection staff and in air marshal roles. Not only that, they also have some specialized units too. We'll give you a couple examples. They have what is called the Commissioner's Protection Detail, which is a specially trained cadre of IRS special agents who provide personal security and protection of the IRS Commissioner. And then there's GIFT, which stands for Global Illicit Financial Team. GIFT is an IRS CI-led task force that investigates organizations that illicitly move money used to support international crime organizations. GIFT investigations include these. Pause the screen to take a longer look. So, at this point, you're still probably coming to terms with the fact that the IRS has special agents. We understand, but we must go on, as you're probably wondering what it takes to become one of these. The training required to become an IRS special agent consists of this. Pause the screen to take a longer look. The position is an 1811 series position, so the requirements have a lot to do with that. It would also help out a lot if you're an accountant. We will leave a link in the description for you if you're interested in the requirements, as they're quite in depth. But we will tell you this, you'll need a tax audit. Big shocker, right? They don't want tax evaders working for them. So there you go. You most likely learned something new today. But before you go, if you're interested in learning more about the IRS, we got some recommended readings for you. There is Three of the First by Hilton Owens and What to Do When the IRS is After You by Richard Schickel. The links for these books are in the description below. And if you enjoyed this Unknown Entities video, you're in luck. We've done one of these before. Did you know?
Did y'all know that NASA had a SWAT team? Oh my goodness. Let me look at this. We're going to go back for a second. Guess who's going to have a major coming up this next inauguration?
U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. What's up, everyone? General Discharge here. Today's video is going to be discussing the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, commonly referred to as ICE. You've most likely heard about ICE before, as they are talked about a lot in the media. ICE is a federal law enforcement agency that falls under the Department of Homeland Security. It was formed in 2003 in response to 9/11. ICE has two primary components: Homeland Security investigations and enforcement and removal operations. We'll explain these later in the video. There's more to ICE than just apprehending undocumented individuals. Stick around and you'll see how. If you want to know more about ICE, what it does, its missions, capabilities, training, requirements, its special response teams, and much more, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Before we jump into it, make sure to take a moment and show us some love and support by liking our video and subscribing to our channel. Your support is our lifeblood. Do not hesitate to ask us questions in the comments section below. We check everything. The single largest area of responsibility of ICE is to combat cross-border criminal activity. It is a critical component of the overall safety, security, and well-being of the United States. As one of the United States' premier federal law enforcement agencies, ICE is dedicated to detecting and dismantling transnational criminal networks that target the American people and threaten our industries, organizations, and financial systems. How does ICE accomplish all of that? By means of the HSI and ERO. Let's go over what both of them are. Let's start off with Homeland Security investigations. In the HSI, you're most likely going to be a special agent. This is the badge of an HSI special agent. Consisting of more than 10,000 employees, HSI is the principal investigative component of the DHS. It is responsible for investigating, disrupting, and dismantling transnational criminal organizations and terrorist networks that exploit the customs and immigration laws of the U.S. The HSI has more than 250 offices across the U.S., as well as over 80 offices around the world. The crimes that are under the HSI's purview are quite plenty, and you're about to see. On screen are all of the transnational crimes HSI investigates. Pause the screen to take a longer look. We'll get back to the HSI in a bit. Let's go over what the enforcement and removal operations is now. If you're in the ERO, you're most likely an officer. This is the badge for them. To put it simply, the ERO are the ones who are arresting and deporting undocumented individuals. The ERO upholds U.S. immigration law at, within, and beyond the United States borders. It manages all aspects of the immigration enforcement process, including identification and arrest, domestic transportation, detention, bond management, and supervised release, including alternatives to detention. It removes undocumented individuals that are ordered to be removed from the U.S. to more than 170 countries around the world. These undocumented individuals can be gang members, those who have violated immigration laws, and immigration fugitives who are ordered to be removed by federal immigration judges. Not only do they get domestic fugitives, they also get international fugitives as well. ERO deportation officers assigned to Interpol, which is the International Police Organization, assist in fugitive arrest and removal cases for those wanted for crimes committed abroad who are now at large in the US. Okay, so you got an idea of what the major elements of ICE are, but what else is there to know? Did you know General Discharge has an Instagram? We actively post memes, video updates, and whatever else we feel like. Join the team and follow us at general.discharge. Links in the description. Now back to the video. Well, the HSI has its own special response teams. HSI SRT operates as a federal SWAT element for each of the 17 offices that have one. HSI SRT's main missions are to deal with HSI's high-risk arrest and search warrants,
Pause that for a
VIP
moment.
protection, sniper coverage, security, barricaded subjects, and rural area operations. They've done more than that, though. They've helped out with natural disasters such as Hurricane Katrina and the Haiti earthquake. Because of their strong relationship with the United States Special Operations Command, they receive soft gear for their members too, which is pretty cool. The SRT is a collateral duty for HSI special agents for those who are assigned to an office that has one. A collateral duty means you still do your regular job, but with a little something extra. Remember, there's only 17 offices that have SRTs. These are where they are. Pause the screen to take a longer
That is
look.
a very important quote.
Let's say you're at one of the field offices that has one. How do you find yourself in an SRT? To qualify, you'd have to pass a physical fitness test, qualify with multiple firearms by shooting 90% or better in full tactical gear, and pass an oral interview process. If you pass all of that, and receive the green light to join a team, you will be a part of the Green Team. Keep in mind, while this is the same name as the one SEAL Team 6 uses, it's not the same group. You'll train with SRT members until they send you to the SRT Initial Certification course, where you'll have to pass additional physical fitness, firearms, scenario-based, and written tests. To give you an idea of how small SRT is, out of the 7,100 special agents, there are about 300 SRT members throughout the US. But to get into the SRT, you need to get into ICE in the first place. What's the training like to get in ICE? Let's get into it. The ICE Academy is held at FLETC in Glencoe, Georgia. Depending on whether or not you're joining the HSI or ERO, your training length will vary from 4 to 6 months. The training doesn't stop there though. Once you graduate, you'll get additional training wherever you go. Okay, we're going to quickly go over what the training is for both HSI and ERO candidates. Both of the candidates receive training in basic law enforcement tactics, immigration law, firearms training, emergency response driving, and constitutional law. HSI, on the other hand, gets training in U.S. Customs law, warrant service, advanced tactics, undercover operations, criminal interrogation, and weapons of mass destruction. ERO gets several weeks of Spanish language training, as well as hands-on training dealing with apprehending undocumented individuals. So, you know the training required to join ICE, but what are the requirements? While there are a lot of different career fields in ICE, we're just sticking with special agents and officers here. The basic requirements to join ICE are these. Pause the screen to take a longer look. There you go. You now know a decent overview of ICE. We went over with you its makeup, missions, training, and requirements. If you're into learning more about other civilian and law enforcement entities, we've done plenty of videos on them. On screen are all the videos we've done thus far. There will be a playlist in the description for them. Well, that is the down and dirty of the United States.
So, I'm gonna tell you, man, some scary shit out there, man. Y'all thinking they not gonna get a fucking boost. Y'all think these people ain't gonna get a fucking boost. Y'all keep playing, I'm gonna tell you, and they're gonna do a recruitment drive like a motherfucker.
Hey, Charles.
Yes, sir.
Why are you saying this? You know, everybody want to hear about BFF.
Oh yeah. And did you notice our viewership went the fuck up too? When we actually teach motherfuckers. Ooh.
What's up,
well, you know, Charles, the booster's already here. The booster's already here.
Oh shit, Charles dropped off?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the thing about Trump. One of his major concerns he's gonna tackle is getting these illegal immigrants up out of here. Because you know, the thing about it, Trump warned them.
Get these illegals out of here.
Big problem. I mean, you know, Trump warned them before he lost the election.
I don't know about y'all where y'all at, but every construction site I go to, man, it'd be like Mexicans, like illegals.
Oh yeah, especially here in Texas. Not just Mexicans here in Texas, man, but also Venezuelans and El Salvador.
Well, here's the thing: they took the trades out of schools for so long that you know we're not. A lot of our brothers, compatriots, is not learned on these valuable trade skills.
Right. Now in the United States, you gotta go to a special trade school, like when they like here in Dallas, they got like that AIM, you know, the Aviation Institute, Aviation Instruction Maintenance Institute, and they got like their own different program and all that, separate from other school systems. But the good thing about that, if you get like an aviation mechanics license, that license lasts for life. Don't have to renew it.
My friend is an aviation mechanic.
Now, like with my job, you know, security, armed and unarmed, I got to renew my license, you know, next year.
And by the way, There's a reason why I'm showing a lot of these videos, because not just since we're lacking in a lot of the trades, notice a lot of these agencies you need degrees. And there are parts where you need a degree and there's parts where you don't. Here's another one that people never heard of. Watch this.
Unknown Entities, a series where we dive into the unknown entities in the world of the military, law enforcement, and government. These entities are typically underpublicized, under the radar, or just aren't known by many. So we go as deep as possible to
And this
find
is the
new
Department of the Energy, too.
Chances are,
Oh, they
you've
cover
probably never
nuclear
heard of what we're
material.
going to talk about in this video today. So let this unknown voice tell you about this unknown entity. DOE Federal Protective Forces. Yes, even the Department of Energy has some high-speed stuff to it. The Federal Protective Forces, also known as the FPF, is a paramilitary entity of the Department of Energy responsible for protecting Category 1 special nuclear material. What is that, you ask? It's strategic nuclear material, such as uranium-233, 235, and plutonium-239. But we're not nuclear physicists here at General Discharge. We're going to cover what the Federal Protective Forces is, what it does, their training, and much more. Oh, and before we continue, please consider subscribing, as 84% of our viewers aren't subscribed. It would be greatly appreciated. While the Department of Energy is the head honcho for this unit, it actually breaks down into the National Nuclear Security Administration and then into Defense Nuclear Security, where the Federal Protective Forces is. The FPF may be officially classified as security police, but it holds limited law enforcement capabilities. They are granted limited arrest authority, able to make probable cause arrests while on duty in regards to federal crimes related to nuclear material and government property. Because of the nature of what an adversary may look like and be capable of, considering the fact that they'd be attempting to steal nuclear assets from the federal government of the United States, the FPF needs to be highly trained, always at the ready and prepared to fight. It has multiple areas of deterrence, from using protective force, physical security, information security, material control and accountability, personnel security, and security program operations.
What is this place called, Lewis? That's called a what? Good old-fashioned shoot house.
Oh, yeah. Nuketown?
Mm-hmm. You got to think, this is the Department of the Energy. So this is the real Nuketown for all of you folks.
And most likely, this is down in Georgia.
Yep.
Planning. All of these integrate the resources at the FPF's disposal to protect against theft, sabotage, diversion, and other criminal acts. So where does the FPF operate? Since they guard nuclear material, they guard wherever it is. Currently, there are 8 Department of Energy facilities the FPF operates in. Hanford Site, Idaho National Laboratory, Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, Los Alamos National Laboratory, Nevada Test Site, Pantex Plant, Savannah River Site, and the Y-12 National Security Complex. Since people aren't attempting to steal nuclear assets from the US on the regular, the FPF has to train for these scenarios in-house. How do they do that? By means of CATs. No, not those CATs. Composite adversary teams. These teams probe protective forces secured sites to identify weaknesses and test the preparedness of the FPF. They pull from other FPF forces, and their main job for their rotation on a CAT is to pretty much try to penetrate and defeat their colleagues as if they were truly the enemy. This is a really smart tactic, as it gives the operators a chance to think like the enemy and prepare them for scenarios they may have never even thought of. So, what's the training like for this entity? What about how you get into it? The FPF is designed to operate in combat environments. They are trained at the Department of Energy's National Training Center in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and also receive some specialized training at Y-12. Members receive a wide variety of training in security, firearms, small unit tactics, DOE directives, explosives, and much more. There's some opportunities for FPF members to get into crisis negotiation, become armorers, investigators, and law enforcement specialists. Okay, what about getting into it? While this is all under the Department of Energy, the Federal Protective Forces are recruited and employed by private companies. There's no academy or organic way of joining these forces like you would if you were joining the FBI. So there you go. You most likely learned something new today. The DOE Federal Protective Forces are an elite, highly trained unit that many people don't know about, except you know. If you enjoyed this,
I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of these places that you're going to come across and you don't understand what the fuck these units do. Like, oh yeah, Coast Guard. By the way, did you know the Coast Guard had special operations?
when it comes to United States military special operations, there are several units that capture the public spotlight. For the Navy, it's the Navy SEALs. For the Army, it's the Green Berets or Army Rangers. But what about the Coast Guard? From high-speed boat operations to the heart-stopping moments of boarding and searching vessels carrying illegal contraband, they undertake intense, high-stakes missions that only the best of the best can accomplish. The U.S. Coast Guard's deployable specialized forces might not be a household name, but they are an elite force of highly trained and incredibly skilled operators who are the tip of the spear in the fight against maritime threats. With that said, what units make up Coast Guard Special Operations? What kinds of missions do they partake in? And most importantly, what do they do? Join us as we dive into one of the most unknown yet capable special operations forces of the United States military, Coast Guard Special Operations. Driving a submarine full of illegal drugs and hoping to smuggle them into the United States? Not with MSRT around, you won't, unless you want a team of MSRT operators boarding your vessel and taking you to jail. As the Coast Guard's only offensively oriented counterterrorism team, Coast Guard Maritime Safety Response Teams are the first call when dealing with hijacked ships and neutralizing terrorist situations on open waters. They have a critical role in the Department of Homeland Security's maritime defense strategy, being strategically placed on both coasts in Chesapeake, Virginia and San Diego, California. But here's the cool thing. Even though the Coast Guard as a whole falls under the DHS and focuses on domestic matters, the MSRT is capable of rapidly deploying worldwide in response to incidents. For example, they've deployed to the Middle East, where they've played a significant role in drug interdiction and anti-piracy operations around the Persian Gulf. As a highly capable counterterrorism unit, MSRT members have a lot of tools in their tool belt. But what tools do you have in your tool belt to protect your online privacy and data from intruders on the internet? That's where NordVPN comes in. From phishing to malware to DDoS attacks, there's no operations. MSRT members are trained in direct action, advanced interdiction, hostage rescue and personnel recovery, small unit tactics, counter-assault, tactical maritime law enforcement, VBSS, canine explosive detection teams, CBRN, and they even have diving capabilities. That means that if you serve in the MSRT, you could be in the Coast Guard. Yes, Coast Guard, working as a sniper, going on dives, working with canines, being a JTAC, breaching, practicing shipboarding procedures and assaults, and a whole slew of other things. If you're familiar with what a Navy SEAL does, you'll notice there's a lot of overlap in what they do. That's why the MSRT has been known to frequently train with them and other SOF forces, as well as the Secret Service, FBI, and BORTAC. With so many skills to keep up with, when the MSRT isn't deployed or on a mission, they spend their time training. Additionally, the MSRT consists of several elements that work in tandem to execute and complete its missions. There's the direct action sections, which serve as the assault elements, the precision marksman observer teams, which provide overwatch for the direct action sections, the tactical delivery teams, who transport the direct action sections to their objectives, and the CBRN section, who counter CBRN terrorist threats in the maritime domain. For those interested in joining this community, maritime enforcement specialists mostly do the boots on ground work, as well as some bosun's mates. Otherwise, various rates typically serve and support roles for mission success. Just keep in mind that working in the MSRT, as well as other units we're going to cover, are billets, not careers. Chances are high that you will not be spending your entire career in these lines of work. Needless to say, the Coast Guard MSRT is an elite unit that makes a giant impact on the Coast Guard and SOF community as a whole. With the motto, "We own the night," it's safe to say that MSRT is always alert and ready for whatever comes their way. With MSRT covered, let's move on to our next Coast Guard deployable specialized forces unit, Maritime Safety and Security Teams. The Coast Guard Maritime Safety and Security Teams might only be one letter and word away from their MSRT counterparts, but that slight difference means a hell of a lot. Instead of being a reactive counterterrorism unit like the MSRT, MSSTs are a proactive anti-terrorism unit which prevents and defends against attacks. In other words, they're more protective than they are offensive, but they're fully capable of packing a powerful punch if push comes to shove. In a nutshell, MSSTs provide waterborne security and serve as a counter-terrorism force protection for domestic and international waterways. They're boat units that are used to prevent or deter potential terrorist attacks on the seas, bolster force protection operations, enforce laws, increase port security, aid with search and rescue, and board hostile ships in and around American waters. And in the unfortunate event that things go south, MSSTs can be utilized as a quick response force capable of quickly deploying anywhere, both domestically and internationally. For example, MSSTs have provided support for high-threat events such as the presidential inauguration, G20 summit, international piracy missions, and even the Super Bowl. The rates that generally make up MSSTs consist of BMs, MKs, and MEs, but there are also others such as ETs, DCs, HSs, and GMs. With MSSTs covered, let's move on to the Coast Guard's tactical law enforcement teams. If you're a modern-day pirate, you wouldn't want to run into a Coast Guard tacklet. Coast Guard Tactical Law Enforcement Teams, referred to as tacklets in short, are a specialized force that carries out anti-piracy, maritime interdiction, security, and counter-narcotics operations. For example, when there are drug smugglers trying to get drugs in the country, you can bet your ass that tacklet teams will be there trying to stop them. They will go on board the drug boats, arrest the crew, seize the drugs, and hand it all over to the feds. Tacklets deploy on Coast Guard or other allied vessels to do these counter-drug operations. They often work with HITRON, which is the Coast Guard's airborne use of force component, to help them disable the drug vessels and interdict smuggling. That means a Coast Guardsman will be using a 50 cal sniper from a moving helicopter to shoot at a moving drug vessel to disable its engine. Then the tacklet teams rush in to get the drug smugglers and their contraband. Yeah, the Coast Guard does some pretty cool shit. There are two tacklet locales, Tacklet South, which is located in Miami, and Pac Tacklet, which is located in San Diego. Each tacklet consists of law enforcement detachments, or LEDETs, who operate in 8 to 11-man teams. They've been known to deploy with the US Navy, British Navy, Canadian Navy, and New Zealand Navy. Pretty much any allied warship that is transiting a known drug trafficking route will have tacklet personnel on it. The rates that generally make up tacklets are MEs, with a few BMs, MKs, and other support rates scattered if needed. With tacklets covered, let's move on to port security units. If you want to be a reservist in the Coast Guard, but still have a pretty cool job, port security units might be the career for you. Staffed primarily with reservists, PSUs are the Coast Guard's expeditionary forces that provide security and force protection to forward-deployed base camps and ports around the world. While they usually operate in United States waters under the Coast Guard's command, they can be quickly called upon elsewhere by the DoD's request. And they're quick at it, too. PSUs can deploy within 96 hours and establish operations within 24 hours of arrival. PSUs are trained to respond to various security threats such as terrorism, sabotage, or subversion, and are utilized in both the ground and maritime domains. For example, PSUs operate highly maneuverable and armed transportable port security boats, or TPSBs, while also offering land-based security forces that complement the waterborne operations. Thus, in tandem, they provide waterborne and limited land-based anti-terrorism and force protection for shipping and critical port facilities. What's pretty cool about this is that PSUs are the only Coast Guard elements that provide ground combat security capability to the Coast Guard. There's three main divisions of a port security unit: the waterside and landside security divisions and the engineering division. The waterside security division mostly comprises of bosun mates and machinery technicians who operate the armed transportable port security boats. The landside security division mostly consists of maritime enforcement specialists, and the engineering division is composed of machinery technicians, damage controlmen, electronics technicians, and electricians mates, who are all trained in machinery operation and maintenance to ensure that the PSU is fully mission capable. There's support and logistics too, so you can find just about any rate over at a PSU. Again, this is a billet that is mostly handed out to reservists, but keep in mind that they are deployed much more often than the rest of the Coast Guard reserves. With port security units covered, let's move on to the National Strike Force. The Coast Guard's National Strike Force is a vital national asset and specialized force responsible for responding to environmental and maritime hazards, such as oil spills, hazardous waste releases, and other environmental emergencies. The NSF has the ability to respond rapidly to any location within the United States and its territories, as well as internationally, to assist with the containment and cleanup of hazardous substance releases. The National Strike Force also works closely with federal, state, and local agencies to provide technical support and expertise in response to environmental incidents. One such example that showcases the National Strike Force's capabilities was its response to the Deepwater Horizon oil spill of 2010. The National Strike Force played a significant role in what is the largest environmental disaster the Coast Guard has ever dealt with. At the height of the effort, they oversaw an armada of over 6,000 vessels, 120 aircraft, and nearly 50,000 Coast Guard and civilian personnel to deal with the spill that was spewing 60,000 barrels per day for nearly 90 days. The NSF consists of three strike teams, which are the Atlantic Strike Team, Gulf Strike Team, and Pacific Strike Team. These strike forces are comprised of a unique, highly trained cadre of Coast Guard professionals who maintain and rapidly deploy with specialized equipment and possess incident management skills such as chemical handling, emergency response, and hazardous materials management. With such a highly trained community, the NSF is recognized worldwide as an expert authority in the preparation for and response to the effects resulting from oil discharges, hazardous substance releases, weapons of mass destruction events, and other emergencies on behalf of the American public. Through standardized, job-specific training, the NSF propels responders toward increasing levels of expertise and crisis leadership so they are ready at any time, any place, and for any hazard. Unlike the other units covered today, there's quite a few rates that can find themselves in this line of work, which are shown on screen. With the National Strike Force wrapped up, it's safe to say that there's more to the Coast Guard than meets the eye. While at times the Coast Guard might be the butt of the joke when compared to the other branches, there's some awesome opportunities out there for people who want to serve their country, and they definitely play a critical role for our national security. Just remember, if you're interested in joining the Coast Guard, jobs in the deployable specialized forces are typically billets, not careers, so don't go into this thinking you can do a whole 20 years on this side of the Coast Guard. Do your research and ask around. Well, that is the
I'd like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for Bay and Lewis for simulcasting. Everybody get some rest and be very, very productive. We are out.
All right.
Woo!